Chapter 3944. Although the woman sat there, her height was not much shorter than that of other men. She should be quite tall when she stood up. This man is very beautiful, with willow eyebrows and phoenix eyes, high nose and thin lips. But in the beauty, he is born with a touch of aloofness. With the experience of dragon dust, he is a rose with thorns, which is very difficult to get along with. There is a 6-petaled plum blossom pattern in her eyebrow, which seems to contain infinite power of fire. When she looks at Longchen, it seems that the plum blossom is also looking at Longchen. The flame in the plum blossom seems to lock Longchen at any time. This woman is a terror, and is also one of the first people to make Longchen feel pressure after Longchen's arrival. Seeing the woman looking at herself coldly, Longchen didn't understand her meaning and said faintly, "What can I do for you?" The woman said coldly, "No advice. I've heard of you. In Jiuli Fairyland, I met a group of powerful carpenters. I had invited them, but they said that they belonged to the Dragon Blood Army and would not join any forces. They would only be loyal to their boss. I asked them who their boss was. They told me it was Longchen, and they also showed me a picture and asked me if I knew you. Longchen's heart is jumping wildly. A group of powerful Mushio belong to the Dragon Blood Army. Isn't that the medical soldiers of the Dragon Blood Army? Where are they now?" Longchen asked in a hurry. They were chased and killed by Wang Tianhui of the Purple Thunder Empire in Jiuli Fairyland. I just arrived at the critical moment and forced Wang Tianhui away to save them. The woman said, "Thank you so much." Longchen is in a hurry. "You don't have to thank me. There are 18 of them. 3 of them are seriously injured by Wang Tianhui, and their lives are uncertain. I invite them to join the Rosefinch Empire. If they refuse, I will not use my secret method to save them. Therefore, the 3 people are seriously injured. According to my experience, their chances of survival are very low." The woman's face was expressionless. Hearing that the 3 were seriously injured, Longchen was furious. Unexpectedly, the people of the Purple Thunder Empire were not honest in other places. "You can say that I am despicable. Both Wang Tianhui and I are interested in their precious wood talent. Wang Tianhui is a force, but I am a soft mill. Although the way is different, the purpose is the same." The woman looked at Longchen Road. Longchen shook his head and said, "Anyway, I will keep in mind that you helped my sister. If I have a chance, I will repay you." Although this woman didn't rescue him on the spot, Longchen didn't hate him. The medical soldiers have strong self-healing ability. They have suffered so much injury that they have to pay a great price if they want to heal them. In a secret place, opportunities and dangers coexist. If they refuse to join the Rosefinch Empire, this woman naturally has no obligation to take risks to help them heal their wounds. To tell you the truth, I don't like you very much. If it wasn't for you, these excellent wood repair talents would be attracted by me, and my strength would be greatly increased. In the future, competing for the throne is also a powerful card. I failed to win over, which is all your harm." Looking at the woman's eyes with indifference. "What theory is that?" Longchen has been in a daze. "Is that okay? Isn't that unreasonable?" "This is my theory because these wood repairs are too important for me. I will never give up what I like, so." "This woman named Yu Qianxue is cold. What are you doing? Want to hit me?" Longchen looks at the appearance that Yu Qian's snow complexion is not good, can't help but alert. "You and I have a big gamble. In the challenge arena, I will win or lose. If you lose, you and your Dragon Blood Army will be under my command." Yu Qiangshu's words are authentic. He'll go. That's the appetite. Longchen looks at Yu Qianxue in disbelief. How does the beautiful and proud woman think? "I have so many brothers who will work for you in the future? How dare you think?" Longchen shakes his head. Although this woman is strong, she is a paranoid lunatic. She thinks about everything from her own point of view. She looks very beautiful, but she is a fool. Longchen was just about to speak, but before he spoke, the man who offered his seat to Longchen said curiously, "What if you lose?" "I won't lose." Yu Qiangshu's voice is full of confidence. "Don't be so full. What if you lose?" The man laughed and said curiously. Yu Qianxue hummed coldly, "If I lose, I will marry him." Everything I have is dowry. With Yu Qiangshu's words, all the strong people on the scene were shocked. This is too exaggerated. Is this a contest to recruit relatives? You know, this cold beauty is the princess of the Rosefinch Empire. How noble is her status? In a word, is it a lifetime? When people look at Yu Qianxue, they also look at the handsome man in black with a long knife on his back. They secretly guess what the identity of Long Chen is. How come they have never heard of this man? And listen to Yu Qiangshu's tone, she has never seen Long Chen before, but she has heard of Long Chen and doesn't know much about Long Chen, so she gambles so much, isn't it exaggerating? Yu Qiangshu's words surprised the other royal disciples and looked at her in disbelief. You know, in their understanding, this is a very proud lord. Even the princes and daughters, she is indifferent and seldom talks. Today, they are all cheated because of this. Is it true that the 18 would repair geniuses are extremely terrible? Let Yu Qianxue even ignore the face of the royal family, want to gamble with Long Chen. Are you a princess? Long Chen was stunned. That's right. He's Snow Princess of the Rosefinch Empire. Hey my friend, race your chance. Take a gamble. Take a gamble. A knife becomes an axe. Take a fight. A spoon becomes a pot. The man beside Long Chen, like a child, was very excited and patted Long Chen on the shoulder. Long Chen felt that the people in the first 3 rows were not ordinary. If he dared to speak to the princess in this way, I'm afraid they were all at the level of prince and daughter. It's fair. If you lose, everything belongs to me. If I lose, everything belongs to you. How dare you fight? Yu Qianxue looks at Long Chen Road. At this time, Liao Yu Huang and others, who were going to continue the program, stopped because of Yu Qianxue. They looked at them and seemed very interested in their gambling. What kind of dog blood is this? Long Chen is speechless for a while. I'm here to marry the princess. That's right. It's not you that I want to marry. I'm sorry, I'm not interested in this kind of gambling. I don't think it's appropriate for me to sit here. I won't disturb you. With that, Long Chen got up and left. Brother Long, please stay. At this time, the woman in yellow with flute spoke. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3945. Younger martial sister Yu Huang said that elder brother Long is proficient in rhythm. Younger sister sincerely wants to ask elder brother Long to comment on her. Younger sister has been stuck in the bottleneck period for several months and has not made any progress at all. I also ask elder brother Long to give me advice. The woman in yellow said something and saluted Long Chen respectfully. The words of the woman in yellow surprised the strong people on the scene. Some of them couldn't believe that they were looking at Long Chen. Did he even know the rhythm? The fairy is joking. I don't even know the temperament. How dare I talk about it? It's a small joke, but it's a big sin to make a mistake. Long Chen said with a bitter smile. Although he has read some books about temperament, knows some music theory knowledge, and can deceive outsiders, it's a joke that the woman in yellow comes from Qinzong, which can be said to be the highest school of music. A martial arts man who only knows how to dance a sword and dye his hands with blood, how can he understand the mystery of music? At this time, a white-faced scholar in the front row next door gave a cold hum, and his voice was very impolite. Looking for fame, Long Chen saw that the man was in his 20s, with white face, fat cheeks and full of pride. Long Chen looked at him, but he didn't even look at him. Holding a teacup, he took a sip, as if disdaining to see Long Chen. Yiji Wufu? If you don't have a warrior to guard the territory and protect the country and the people, can you eat so fat? Long Chen looked at the man and said. Long Chen's words almost made countless people laugh, especially when the fat head and big ears fused with the man's face, which was too appropriate. It's such a big joke. Love is boundless and righteousness is boundless. If everyone can abandon martial arts and follow literature, reason in everything, etiquette and rules, and conform to the way of nature, how can they meet each other? Since there is no danger of war, why should we set up a territory? Since there is no territory, there will be no more disputes and people will not die of violence. Your so-called defense of territory is just an excuse to erode other countries and constantly expand their territory. The scholar sneered. My friend, listen to my advice. Don't have the same opinion with him. These guys have no other skills. We are not rivals at all when it comes to argument. The royal disciple next to Longchen advised kindly. He was well aware of the eloquence of these scholars. Moreover, there was a clear stipulation in the ancestral precepts of the Suzak Empire that the Suzak Empire needed to keep its culture prosperous and martial arts prosperous. Therefore, these scholars were not powerful, but they had a high status. Even the royal disciples could not be rude to them. The practitioners of the Suzaku Empire hate these people, but they have nothing to do. They dare not violate the law of the Suzaku Empire. That person's heart is very good, don't want to make a fool of Longchen, so advise Longchen not to pay attention to them, otherwise it will be endless. This group of guys have no reason to bite 3 points. They have to be reasonable and forgive others. They have to find something to do when they have nothing to do. And reasoning is their strong point. At ordinary times, scholars fight and argue with each other. This is what they practice. This is their strong point. To argue with them is to use one's own weakness to attack the enemy. In history, I don't know how many practitioners have been displeased by them. It's just a bunch of brainless sprayers. What's the fear of Longchen? I don't believe you can wipe out the achievements of countless frontier soldiers of the Rosefinch Empire with just one mouth. They are heroes who protect their families and defend their people. They are brave men who are not afraid of sacrifice. They are steel walls that protect the people of Zhuge Empire without complaint or regret. While you are listening to wonderful music, drinking fragrant tea and sitting here leisurely spraying people. But they hang their heads on their belts, ready to meet the enemy's bloody battle, ready to sprinkle their blood on the land they love. How can such a brave and fearless hero, defending the country and guarding his relatives, become useless in your mouth? Longchen's knowledge is shallow. Please give me some advice. Longchen looks at those scholars with proud faces, and a touch of sarcasm appears at the corner of his mouth. Although he said to point out the confusion, his expression actually told them, "Today I will have a good break with you." As soon as Longchen's words came to an end, countless applause broke out in the audience. Most of the Zhuge Empire were practitioners, and Longchen's words were addressed to the warriors, which aroused their resonance. Facing the applause, the chubby-faced scholar showed a look of disdain on his face and said without fear, "Only knowing how to use fists, but not reasoning, force cannot solve the problem in the end. Violence will only bring more violence in exchange for more hatred. Since then it has been endless. Is it not obvious enough to draw lessons from history? Only by defusing hatred can war be defused. Without war, people will not bleed. The practitioners are always brave and ruthless. They take depriving other people of their life and wealth as their pleasure. Therefore, they are disliked by the way of heaven, but you don't know it yourself. It's extremely stupid. You are the most stupid man, aren't you? In the face of people, you may be reasonable, but in the face of a beast? For example, there is a tiger standing in front of you. Will you reason with it? Will it reason with you? Longchen disdains the tunnel. How can people reason with animals? When I meet an animal, I have my own way to deal with it. That white fat scholar called tunnel, but he didn't say what way the strong on the scene can see. He was asked by Longchen, there is no better way to fight back, can only harden the scalp to say so. The fat scholar with sharp words was forced to have no strength to fight back. The strong men on the scene were stunned. This dragon dust has 2 skills. How? What can you do? It's not just kneeling on the ground and calling dad. Dragon dust light tunnel. When Longchen said this, the fat scholar suddenly became angry. You are a personal attack, so debate should be based on the matter. It's the worst behavior to rise to personal attack. No, let's be reasonable. It's not a personal attack. Haven't you heard that tiger poison doesn't eat sun? Longchen shook his head. You. The fat scholar suddenly stopped talking. He thought that Longchen's words were a little hard to hear, but there was some truth. He couldn't find the reason to fight back. But thinking about the fat scholar, he felt wrong. He knelt down to call his father. Doesn't that mean he is also a beast? Longchen is swearing. Isn't that personal attack? Among the practitioners present, many smart people have long recognized the implication of Long Chen's words, especially the disciples of Qin sect, who all pursed their mouths and smile, but did not break them. What are you, and what qualifications do you have to discuss with a Bachelor of Hanlin? The white fat scholar suddenly stood up and pointed to the dragon dust. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3946. In the Zhuge Empire, the highest literary institution is the Confucius Institute. The disciples of the Confucius Institute have different levels. They are students, and students in turn. Students and students only need to pass the examination to get the qualification. But students are not the same. Students have to pay homage to their teachers and learn from their masters. It's similar to the inheritance of martial arts, but it's not the same. Because every tutor in the Confucius Institute has different areas of expertise, and only after becoming a student can he be regarded as a student of the Confucius Institute, also known as a student of the Confucius Institute. After becoming a master, there are 3 grades, namely, Jinsher, Jusher and Xuesher. Above the 3 grades, there is a special intensive training institute, called Hanlin. Only when you enter Hanlin can you be regarded as a Hanlin bachelor. Hanlin scholars have a very high status, and they can be on an equal footing with the princes and daughters, while the masters of the academy have a higher status. They cannot kowtow to the emperor. Hanlin bachelor has profound knowledge and is respected and admired by countless scholars. In front of Long Chen's eyes, this white and fat scholar is the new Hanlin bachelor this year. This man is only 30 years old and has obtained such a noble degree. It can be said that he has been on the top of his life, so he is very proud. It can be said that wherever we go, we are surrounded. No matter how many people, he is the focus. He also likes this feeling very much. He feels that this is life. But today, he is very uncomfortable. The disciple of Qin sect performs here and sits with everyone. He can no longer find the feeling of standing out from the crowd. Even from the beginning to the present, he didn't even have the chance to show himself, and the beautiful woman of Qinzong didn't even look him in the eye, which made him very hurt. All the female disciples of Qin sect are as beautiful as immortals. What's more, they have a noble temperament, which is adorable. Originally, the female disciples of Qin sect were indifferent to everyone, not to him alone. Although he was upset, he could accept it. But Liao Yuhuang actually pulled Long Chen's hand in front of so many people. His intimate action made countless people jealous, especially the arrogant one. Originally, he looked down on the practitioners. He thought that all the practitioners were rude people who could only move their fists, and their mouths were more stupid than their feet. But he didn't expect that Long Chen's words almost made him angry. Under the rising anger, the brain becomes not smart, can't find the word of counterattack. The more thinking about how to counterattack, the more blank in the head. In a hurry, he stood up directly, pointed to Long Chen and said, "What are you, and what qualifications do you have to discuss with me, a Hanlin bachelor?" Bai Pang's anger suddenly made countless people look at him strangely. Is it really appropriate for Hanlin to curse and be so rude? The corner of Long Chen's mouth curved a sarcastic radian, shook his head and said, "I doubt if you, the academician, got it by means of not seeing the light? Why is it so poor? You're not happy to see that I'm in the limelight and talk to Qin Zong Fairy about temperament. When I talk about temperament, you tell me about Wufu. I'll talk to you about Wufu. You talk to me about reason. I talk to you about reason. Now you talk to me about status. Why do you have to talk about qualifications?" After scolding that sentence, the white fat scholar suddenly woke up from his anger. He was angry because of jealousy. He said such a sentence, but it was useless to regret it. He couldn't take back what he said. Seeing Long Chen's question, he could only harden his head and say, "Of course, the Emperor's Suk is superior. Does it mean that any bandit is qualified to talk to him?" On the one hand, he wants to find out the details of Long Chen. On the other hand, he has already said that. If he admits that he has said something wrong, it is tantamount to beating himself in the face. There are a lot of people here. Everyone is looking at him. Of course, he is not willing to admit his mistake. He has to fight hard to see if he has a chance to come back. That's interesting. Before, you said that force can't solve the problem. You need to be reasonable? Now you throw out the idea of status. That is to say, if my status is relatively low, I don't even have the qualification to speak to you. What's the point? Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. This. White fat scholar's suddenly silly eyes, he dug a hole, the result himself fell in. Therefore, the so-called reasoning can only make sense in a relatively binding environment or under the condition of equal strength. You can be arrogant and domineering under the protection of the law of the Rosefinch Empire. If you get out of the Rosefinch Empire, a guy like you who has no strength and drags like a donkey, I promise you won't live for a day. See, White Fat Scholar asked speechless. Long Chin not only sneer. What bullshit Hanlin bachelor, he doesn't have any goods in his stomach, and he dares to come out and play big garlic. Isn't this guy a fake? A bunch of nonsense, heresy, heaven and earth's law, the way of all things, all spirits in the world to comply with it, how can we distinguish between the strong and the weak? White Fat Scholar angry way. Long Chin slowly stretched out his big hand and said lazily, I'm too lazy to move. I don't want to smoke you. Can you hit my hand with your face? Thank you for your cooperation. When Long Chin said this, countless people burst into laughter on the spot. On the one hand, Long Chin said it funny, on the other hand, the White Fat Scholar was really beating himself in the face. Long Chin has killed his story, so he shouldn't continue to pester on this topic. The more he pesters, the more loopholes he has. This man is too stupid. It is obvious that Long Chin is too lazy to explain anything to him, so he seizes a loophole in his words and plans to choke him. The crowd laughed, and the White Fat Scholar immediately realized that he used his hand to slap his face again. It was no excuse at all. He was so angry that the flesh on his face trembled, but he didn't know what to do. He was so anxious that his brain was sweating. When people saw the White Fat Man's embarrassed appearance, the practitioners were happy and relaxed. They were full of admiration for Long Chin. Long Chin's words were not brilliant at all, but they could make each other speechless and unable to fight back. Well, frog can't talk about the sea, how can summer insects talk about ice? Your hands are covered with blood. I don't know how many lives have been slaughtered. Are you qualified to reason? It's another scholar who stands up to challenge Long Chin. The man was obviously trying to help the White Fat Scholar out of the siege, but all practitioners, who can avoid killing? This person's question is very sharp and straight to the root. Oh, there's a dog eating shit, isn't it? Well, they'll have a good chat with you today. Long Chin is also willing to go, and he plans to know the Rosefinch Empire in secret. Don't you want to play? I will accompany you today. Long Chin jumps directly onto the high platform, takes out a chair, sits down, and looks at the scholars under the stage with his nostrils. I can see that I'm not suitable for keeping a low profile. Forget it, I don't want to make any plans to get married. Close your eyes and do it. Who's afraid of who? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3947. Long Chin was extremely annoyed by these sprays. He wanted to keep a low profile. He first looked at the situation of the Rosefinch Empire, and then studied how to make betrothal gifts. Only when he knew himself and his enemy could he win 100 battles. At this time, he was targeted by these brainless scholars, and Long Chin came up immediately. No matter how many, he sat on the stage and looked at these guys. What's the well, frog? How can summer insects talk about ice? What do you say? My hands are covered with blood. What's the chicken, duck and fish you eat? Are you also covered with blood? I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian and I don't get meat. The scholar seemed to have been prepared for a long time and said with a sneer, if you're a vegetarian, you don't kill? Lift your feet up and have a look. Long Chin disdains the tunnel. That person alone, see all people are looking at him, that person sneer away, don't know so-called. But when he said that, he lifted up one of his feet. The shoes were clean, and the soles were as white as jade. There was no flaw. Zhuke City was really clean and spotless. And then? Do you want your shoes? I'm sorry. Unless you have the status of a scholar, you can't wear these shoes all your life. The scholar sneered. Idiot, can a pair of shoes drag you to the sky? I'm talking about your other shoe. Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. When the scholar heard the words, he changed his foot and lifted up the other foot. The sole was also clean, but there was a small black spot on the white sole. Looking carefully, it was an ant the size of a grain of rice, which had been trampled to death by him, and the body was stuck on the sole of his shoe. Now tell me, are you also stained with blood? Longchen rode. It was just an accident. The scholar was angry. Accident? Accidents can deprive people of their lives at will. Now that the white fat man has said that all living beings should be reasonable in their lives. This mole ant is also a life, but also has relatives, 7 ants and 8 ants. Maybe it has a higher wealth and status, 3 wives and 4 concubines, hard work, and maybe hundreds of children and thousands of grandchildren. And you step on it to death and then say an accident? Do you know how distressed its parents, wife and children are? If you are really reasonable, you should pay for your life and thank you for your death in front of everyone present. Otherwise, where is the axiom? If you don't reason yourself, who will listen to you? Said Longchen. The book was so angry that he would lose his life if he accidentally stepped on an ant? Is this sick? What are you doing? Are you reasonable or not? I'm trying to reason with you from the point of view of mole ants. Why don't you reason now? Longchen doesn't understand. The practitioners on the scene all smile. This dragon dust is so interesting. Few of them have such a smooth tongue. When they watch the group of scholars eat, they feel like they have swallowed a mouthful of iced honey in a hot day. Mole ants can't talk, so why should we reason? Another scholar couldn't help crying. What are you talking about? Longchen pretends not to hear. Mole ants can't talk, so why should we reason? The scholar thought his voice was low, so he cried out. What are you talking about? Mole ants can't talk, so why should we reason? This time the scholar roared. What are you talking about? I say mole ants can't speak, so why? The scholar yelled fiercely. Because he was not a practitioner, his voice was dumb in the middle of the yelling, and the words behind could not be yelled out. I can't hear what you say, which means I don't need to reason with you, right? In other words, you don't need to reason with mole ants. Isn't this a return to the previous question? Strength is not on the same level, and there is no way to reason. You said ants can't speak, I said I can't hear your voice. The truth is the same. To put it bluntly is to hide one's ears and steal one's bell, to see who is more shameless. So, don't pretend to be lofty. Looking at your proud appearance, I just want to hit you in the face. For nothing else, I just feel great. Longchen stands the hand way. A pair of today I consume with you, you can nigh I what posture? Longchen's words are a bit like rogues, but truth is truth. Longchen continues to use this pit to hold them firmly. If this pit can't pass, he can't continue to reason. It's unreasonable for me to pay for my life. You've killed so many creatures. What's your right to say me? The scholar said angrily. I didn't say you. You said me first. I've killed creatures and you've killed them too. Although there is a big difference in the amount, it doesn't make any difference in essence. Is it interesting to laugh at 50 steps? Dragon Dust Light Tunnel. The scholar's face was gloomy. All the scholars present were gloomy. Longchen was too insidious. If this matter was not solved, they would not continue to reason with them. In this way, they would be disgraced. Then, according to what you said, how can this kind of thing be solved? The scholar who trampled on the ants coldly threw the problem to Longchen. Longchen said with a smile, I also like to be reasonable. It's a bit too much to let you pay for your life. But you put away the corpse, kneel down and kowtow 3 times. After you go back, you'll be in mourning for 49 days. It shouldn't be too much. If you agree, well, expose this matter. Let's continue to reason, shall we? The scholar was very angry. According to the rules of the empire, only when the elder of the family died would he be filial and keep vigil. Moreover, ordinary relatives only keep vigil for 7 days and 49 days. That's what parents do when they die. After 49 days, they have to keep vigil for 3 years. Although Longchen didn't ask him to keep filial piety for 3 years, The fact that he kept awake for 7 to 49 days is tantamount to burying the mole ant as his parents. It's a shame. Those who humiliate others will humiliate themselves. Those who trample on others will trample on them. As soon as you come up, you sneer at Long. It's not reasonable at all. You want to make a fool of Long to show how knowledgeable and noble you are. Since you want to step on other people's shoulders and improve your height, you have to be prepared to fall and fall. I've never been used to anyone's fault. I'll be treated with respect. I'll be treated with a big mouth if someone bites me. Anyway, you are shameless, and I don't need to give you any face. If you promise, we will continue. If you don't, that's the end of the story. You can make up your mind. Long Chen looks at a group of scholars, light tunnel. From their eyes, Long Chen saw that it was all anger, but he didn't care. You made me unhappy, I also made you unhappy. It's fair that everyone is unhappy. Yes, I promise. The scholar took down the ants from the soles of his shoes in full view of the public, and kowtowed to the ants 3 times in front of everyone. For a moment, everyone was shocked. Shocked at the same time, they also look at the smiling Long Chen. This guy, I'm afraid, has completely offended the Academy. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3948, Bang Bang. The scholar knocked his head 3 times, wrapped the body of the mole ant in paper and put it into his sleeve. The scholar kowtowed very hard, and his forehead was bleeding, but he didn't care. He looked at Long Chen with venomous eyes. What? So hard knock, is it to win sympathy? Who should I show you as a victim? Originally I looked down on you, now I look down on you even more. Can you only be superior? You are only allowed to step on it? In the face of the scholar's venomous eyes, there is a touch of irony in Long Chen's eyes. Cut the crap. You are challenging all the scholars in the Rosefinch Empire. You think your knowledge is amazing. Let's have a competition today. The scholar was angry. Idiot? Since ancient times, there has been no first place in literature and no second place in martial arts. In literature, where is the first? All the principles are benevolent, which is called benevolence, and the wise see, which is called wisdom. In terms of martial arts, some people dare to be number 1 in the world, because some people can really stand at that height. But in the field of literature, some people dare to call themselves the number 1 in the world. They are either crazy or idiots. What's more, I'm here to reason with you, not to compete. If you want to compete with me in learning, how inferior are you to make such a choice? Long Chen sneers at the man's words. Literature and martial arts have the same goal in different ways. When they reach the highest level, there is naturally a criterion. You say that literature is number 1, because you haven't reached that height. Dare you speak out? There's a cold tunnel. It was a tall and thin scholar in the crowd. He tried to speak several times, but he didn't get in the mouth. At this time, he finally caught a chance. Have you reached the highest level? Long Chen asked. The man was speechless. He was just a candidate. There were many grades on it. Naturally, he didn't dare to say that he had reached that height. Even if we don't reach that height, we can also distinguish the good from the bad. If we don't judge others enough, can we judge you? It's more than enough. The man was speechless, and suddenly someone came out to help. Do you want to face? How to judge who is right and who is wrong? Oh, when the time comes, when you knock your upper teeth and lower teeth, saying that others are right to others, saying that others are wrong, be both a player and a referee? I've been fighting all my life. I've met countless people from the mortal world to the fairyland, but I've never seen you so shameless. Good guy, if it comes to shamelessness, I'm willing to make you number 1. Long Chen admires the tunnel. It has the final say that Lao Tzu is more than you, and then there is no standard. You win the final say, then you play chicken feather? This time, the dragon dust also can be regarded as seeing the world. Jokes, everyone present is a scholar who has read poetry and books and is well versed in classics. Don't judge a gentleman with the heart of a villain. A scholar said angrily. Heaven is strong, the gentleman is constantly striving for self-improvement, the terrain is vast, the gentleman is virtuous, you are jealous and resentful, You attack the dragon in groups, you are good at yourself and you are short of deceiving others. Call yourself a gentleman, but how can you be a gentleman? Longchen asked. As far as manners are concerned, for a modest gentleman, you should be as gentle as jade. For a villain, how can you hear the words of modesty in your ears and know them in your heart? There's irony in the back. If you are a modest gentleman, you should know that there must be a teacher for 3 people. All things have their own principles. Every law and every way has its own rules. Even the common people have their own advantages. They have their own rules of survival. First, they don't steal you. Second, they don't rob you. They are self-sufficient. But you are rude to the people in the market. You are known for being small, showing your own greatness and being condescending. What's your prestige? Who gives you confidence and despises others? Longchen sneers. Longchen's words are sharp, and his needles can see his blood. When he hears the strong man on the scene, he is stunned. If he can't feel the vast force of qi and blood on Longchen, people will think that he is also a scholar. Most of them are villains and sneakers. They do harm to others and benefit themselves for the sake of petty gain. They show the ugliness of human nature and breed later generations with their inferiority. Although he has enough to eat, he does not want to make progress, refuses to read, refuses to be reasonable, and is willing to degenerate. He lives in the dirt and poverty forever. He cannot enjoy the glory and wealth all his life. Another scholar said, "A gentleman's way is to cultivate his moral character by being quiet, to cultivate his virtue by being frugal, not to be indifferent, not to be clear about his ambition, not to be quiet, not to be far away. Your virtue depends on the gap between the rich and the poor. How can you be equal to a gentleman? You look down on other people's rags when you dress like a dog? Can you laugh at the poverty of others if you are well off? What knowledge do you talk about when you have a bad mind? You can stand here, not because of how hard you work, how excellent you are, but because of the strength of your parents. They can afford you to study." Longchen disdains the tunnel. This man has a problem with his 3 concepts and his mind is not right. Fortunately, he chose to study literature. If he practiced martial arts, he did not know how many people would be harmed by them. According to his theory, all the poor people should die. Fortunately, this man is not a practitioner. He is just a boaster. He has no power of his own. If he is a powerful practitioner, Longchen will not let him live to see the sun of tomorrow. The way of heaven, the survival of the fittest, the law of man, the law of earth, the law of heaven, the law of heaven, the law of nature, heaven will eliminate them, which shows that they are not happy with the way of heaven. There is no fault in this elder brother's words. Why is there any wrong idea? If you want to add sin to it, why not the man was asked by Longchen before, and someone nearby helped to speak? Since the Tao is natural, we should comply with the rules. One day there will be land, one day there will be yin, one day there will be yang, one day there will be high, one day there will be low, one day there will be rich, one day there will be poor. How can yang come without yin? No low, no high? How can we be rich without poverty? Heaven and earth are mutually friendly, yin and yang are mutually beneficial, high and low are mutually needed, rich and poor are mutually established, and all things are different. This is the way of nature. How can heaven not like this? Longchen called Hum Wei, the way of heaven and earth, the way of nature, the way of heaven for those who have no desire. What's your qualification to say? Someone asked coldly. Since those who have no desire get the way of heaven, you can't even control your desire to talk about the way of heaven with me? Just shut up, mixed. Longchen didn't want to explain, so he took it back directly. The next round is a fierce battle of words. Longchen doesn't drag the words as before, but directly answers their questions. In a word, he can choke each other to death. Next, next. After each sentence, the next one was added. As a result, dozens of people argued in turns, and they were all rebuffed by one sentence of Longchen. In the end, no one dared to ask questions again. People are silly. Longchen has a wide range of knowledge. No matter what these people ask, Longchen can cut to the main point, seize the loopholes in their words, fight back and hit the key point with one hit, making them speechless and unable to refute. Finally, none of the scholars dared to ask questions. With his own strength, Long Chen fought against Yu Yu's mouth. The practitioners on the scene admired Long Chen's eloquence. No next one? Then I'll go. I have something to do. Long Chen sees the whole audience glaring at him, but no one asks him any more. Long Chen pats his ass and stands up. Brother Long, it's a wonderful debate. My younger sister has learned what is full of wisdom and wisdom. I'd like to ask Brother Long's advice and pick out the flaws in Xiamaya's song. Xiao Mei is very grateful. Long Chen wants to go. The woman in yellow quickly stops Long Chen, and her face is full of sincerity. Really? I've just met someone. Very impolite. I may offend you. Long Chen looks at the woman in yellow with a serious face. He doesn't know why. From the woman in yellow, Long Chen feels a little uncomfortable. The breath seems to come from the woman herself and her skill, and the uncomfortable feeling comes from the feeling of his 9-star body Jew. Long Chen wants to know what it is. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3949 The Beauty in Yellow, with beautiful appearance and gentle manners, has a noble atmosphere when raising her hands and feet, but it doesn't make people feel domineering, which makes people like and respect from the bottom of their hearts. Although no one knows her name, it can be seen that she should be the most important one among the disciples of Qin sect. Just now, a flute by a woman in yellow, like a dragon in a picture, has pushed the whole tune to a climax and sent it to the cloud, showing her powerful skill. It is the coexistence of real beauty and strength. At the beginning, many people were jealous. However, when Long Chen was fighting against others, his erudition had shocked everyone. At this time, he didn't dare to underestimate him anymore. Think back, how noble is the identity of the woman in yellow? If you can condescend to come down and ask Long Chen to comment, you must know that Long Chen has something extraordinary. All the ways of heaven and earth are my teachers, and the road of music will always be my apprentice. A smile appeared at the corner of the woman's mouth. When the woman in yellow said this, countless practitioners couldn't help looking at the scholars, and the corners of their mouths showed the color of ridicule. You see, other people's zither master fairy has such noble status and profound music theory, but can be so humble. How about you? Have so little ability, one by one dragged to heaven, deserve to be pulled face. In the face of the taunting eyes of countless strong people, those scholars look ugly. They are usually despised by them, but now they despise them. This gap makes them extremely angry, but helpless. That's okay. I'll say what I have. The previous music is flawless. It's the third part and climax of the famous Guzheng music Qianshan Ingxue. The music has a long sound, a great momentum, a combination of hardness and softness, and an atmosphere of humility. It's said that this song is a great musical talent. When Guangmingzi was young, he traveled to the ice area of Qianshan Mountain. He saw the dusk snow of Qianshan Mountain and the green peaks. It was like the world among the clouds. It was beautiful. When inspiration came, he created this song by playing zither with his hands. As soon as Long Chen opens his mouth, he points out the origin of the music played by the disciples of the Qin sect. He tells the story like a few treasures. People present, whether they are practitioners or scholars, are shocked. Does Long Chen even know this? You know, Long Chen in Lingshao Academy, in order to obtain more knowledge, but every day he endured the pain of tearing his soul and poured all the ancient books into his mind. Because Xian is a musician, Long Chen will naturally learn more about the music. So he is very careful about the music. He has learned a lot of knowledge, but he didn't expect to use it today. This song was created by Guangchengzi when he was young. It is very masculine, just in line with his young ambition, soaring to the sky, complacent, heroic mood. Therefore, in the last syllable, it is a rare treble, and the control of the technique and breath of music has reached an extreme. For countless practitioners of music, this treble is already an unattainable height. Long Chen looked at the woman in yellow and said, with a touch of appreciation in her voice, "Brother Long, I'm flattered. I'm ashamed. Brother Long, let's talk about my shortcomings." The woman in yellow is very humble. Then I'm not polite. Your last treble is a failure. It's too strong to highlight. It's suspected of showing off skills. It's out of tune with the previous music. It's specious and nondescript. Longchen rode. As soon as Longchen said this, the strong people on the scene changed their faces. Some of his words were too sour and mean. They were not polite at all. They were more cruel than those scholars. They didn't give any face. When people look at the woman in yellow, it is obvious that the woman in yellow's face has changed a little, and Liao Yuhuang and others are also stunned. Is the criticism of Long Qin too cruel? This is a complete negation of women in yellow. Do you understand music, such a wonderful piece of music? If not, why is it so beautiful? You are just making a fool of yourself and talking nonsense. The white fat scholar who had been silent for a long time stood up and cried. In the face of the white fat scholar's question, Long Chen smiles, claps his hands and says, I can't imagine that you can also speak human words. It's not easy. In a word, we talk about the essence, but we'll discuss this topic later. Let's talk about the performance of the fairy first. Surprisingly, Long Chen didn't reply to the white fat scholar, but also praised him, although this kind of praise is not like praise. Brother Long, please give me some advice. Huang Yi woman Wei, although the voice is still modest, but obviously some not satisfied. Looking at the woman in yellow, Long Chen said with a smile, maybe I'm a bit hard to hear, but since you're so kind as to invite me, I can only tell the truth. The good medicine tastes bitter and the advice is harsh. There's nothing I can do about it. As for Yue Dao, because I am not a musician, I can only comment and analyze it from the perspective of the listener. There are no flaws in the early Qin music. Your insertion is flawless in terms of time, rhythm, and entry point. In terms of technique, it is impeccable. But the latecomer is the latecomer. As soon as he comes up, he leads the heroes to the sky. Although he can bring a strong sensory impact, after the impact, he is lost and out of tune with reality. Brother Long means that we should not lead the climax with flute? Asked the woman in yellow. Long Chen shook his head and said, you still don't understand what I mean. The so-called embracing tree is born at the very end of a tree. It starts from the earth. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You didn't take part in the tiredness of building soil in the beginning. How can you sing at the top of the 9-story platform, the tiredness of others, the fruit of all, and pick it by yourself? There is no beginning but an end, which goes against the natural way. Brother Long means that my younger sister steals other people's achievements and picks peaches? The face of the woman in yellow changed, and finally there was a touch of anger in her eyes. Long Chen looked at the woman in yellow and said coldly, the 3 armies have a commander, and all spirits have a leader. Is the leader not in the front, but in the back? Long Chen's words are too much. Let alone a woman, even a man can't stand this kind of accusation. This is to scold the woman in yellow for pretending to be noble and showing herself by standing on the efforts of others. This is to say that others are despicable. Why don't you talk? See Long Chen just looking at her not to talk, the yellow dress woman can't help but weigh. Not even Brother Long? Long Chen said with a helpless smile. Brother Long, please continue to instruct me. The woman in yellow said coldly that she had to break with Long Chen today. You're angry. Long Chen looks at the woman in yellow, which is meaningful. The woman in yellow is awe-inspiring. For those who practice music and Taoism, it's taboo to have too much emotional fluctuation. To cultivate music is to cultivate heart. If she is angry, it means that her Taoism is too shallow. What's more, it can make her angry. That's because Long Chen's words hurt her, and the reason is that something in her heart, or in her soul, is making trouble. If she doesn't have such selfishness, Long Chen's words will be a passing cloud for her and won't cause any fluctuation. Long Chen's sentence, you are angry, explains too many problems. Brother Long, please give me some advice. When the woman in yellow said that, she handed the flute to Long Chen. Long Chen was so stupid that he said, I can brag. I can't play flute? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3950. Looking at the woman in yellow, Long Chen frowns slightly. Is this deliberately making trouble for me? Is that the heart of Qin sect's disciples? You asked me to point out your shortcomings. I don't mean it. You're so shameless. Now I've pointed it out. Right or wrong, at least I can help you? What's the difference between now and turning over? What do you mean? They'll do it? The dragon's face became gloomy. Just to refuse, suddenly see next to Liao Yuhuang at a loss, words to the mouth, and swallow back. Liao Yuhuang has helped Long Chen. If Long Chen turns over the woman in yellow here, Liao Yuhuang will be very embarrassed. Liao Yuhuang's invitation to Long Chen is sincere and sincere. Long Chen doesn't seem to let her down. Well, I know it's on paper. In fact, it's not bullshit. But don't dare to take it, do you? See Long Chen embarrassed? That white fat scholar immediately sees the opportunity, sneer. I have high eyes and low hands. I seem to know everything. In fact, I only know something. You think too much of him. I don't think he knows anything about it. He's just fooling around, isn't he? Seeing this, other scholars fall into the well one after another and make sarcastic remarks to Long Chen, so as to avenge their previous hatred. Brother Long, I'm so sorry. Elder Martial Sister Wani. Don't be embarrassed. Seeing that things are going to be stiff, Liao Yuhuang comes up and apologizes to Long Chen. At the same time, he is also persuading the woman in yellow. In the face of the following scholars' ridicule, in the face of the yellow woman's difficulties and Liao Yuhuang's plea, Long Chen takes over Liao Yuhuang's flute with an enigmatic smile on his mouth. Brother Long. Liao Yuhuang was stunned. I've never played flute, and I can't play any musical instrument. Just like the fountain said, I really only know a little bit about it. However, since I have promised others, I'll stick to my head and do it in the end. Wani Fairy didn't agree with what I said before, so let's have a try. Yuhuang Fairy, how about you and me playing a whole piece of Qian Shaning Xue? Long Chen looks at Liao Yes ecliptic. Brother Long, you have never used flute, how can you? Liao Yuhuang can't bear to let Long Chen make a fool of himself. At the same time, he secretly hates that he shouldn't have too much to do. This is tantamount to pitching Long Chen. It's okay. Although I still understand some theories. I just try to play. As for shame? Hey, don't take it seriously. I have so many shameful things to do. It's not bad for one thing or two. Long Chen said with a smile. Seeing that Long Chen took the flute and used it, she knew that she was a layman. At this time, the woman in yellow was a little embarrassed. She shouldn't give in to Long Chen because of her anger. This is revenge for kindness. Brother Long. The woman in yellow said that she wanted to take back her previous words. Well, sometimes the theory is far from the reality. I just have a chance to prove it. It's just a little offensive to borrow the fairy flute. I don't know if the fairy has any other flute? Long Chen said with a smile. The flute is carved with simple patterns. It is made of the best immortal gold. It is not a common thing. This is the flute used by the woman in yellow just now. This flute is not an ordinary weapon. There are differences between men and women. Long Chen wants to change it. Looking at Long Chen, the woman in yellow clothes felt a touch of apology on her face. She shook her head and said, Brother Long, I admire you. Since Brother Long wants to have a try, let's use this flute. The strong one at the scene realized that the flute was the favorite of the woman in yellow. If Long Chen had used it, how could she use it again? If she uses it again? Is it not an indirect kiss? For a moment, people looked at the woman in yellow and Long Chen. They were at a loss. They didn't know what it meant. They were still fighting each other just now. Now how can the atmosphere become strange again? That's impolite. Long Chen smiles. All of a sudden, Long Chen asked, is the practice of Wani Fairy different from that of other fairies? How does Brother Long know? The woman in yellow stayed. If so, Long Chen smiles and doesn't answer. Instead, he signals Liao Yuhuang and others to play together. Zheng zheng. Liao Yuhuang and other jade hands flick, and the sound of the zither is like a clear spring, and the whole scene quiets down in an instant. Woo-woo. When Long Chen gently blows the flute on his mouth, It makes everyone speechless. Long Chen's posture is really interesting, but when he blows, he almost blows the bird. The sound is broken, just like the wind across the valley. Is this the sound of the flute? What a joke! With the blow of Long Chen, the scholars on the scene laughed. What's the difference between this and old donkey farting? Go down quickly, don't spoil the fairy's performance. It's so shameless. If I were you, I would have been killed here. Those scholars who had been speechless by Long Chen before found the opportunity to humiliate and ridicule wantonly. Liao Ye's yellow face looks unbearable, and the woman in yellow has guilt on her face. This time, it's all her fault, but now it's over and she can't recover it. Seeing so many people abusing Long Chen, she feels sad, but she can't do anything. For the first time in her life, she feels regret. In the face of endless abuse and humiliation, Long Chen doesn't have the slightest fluctuation on his face. His movements are still similar, and his expression is more like a master of music. He is completely immersed in the realm of music. Woo 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 woo. It's just that the sound of Long Chen's blowing is really too bad, especially in the wonderful sound of Qin. It's just like the noise. It's hard to listen to. The sound of Qin is destroyed by him. Qianshan Yingxue is divided into 3 sections. The first section is completed. Long Chen finally finds out how to pronounce the flute. The sound is no longer a plosive. After the second paragraph, Long Chen can finally blow out a complete syllable, but it is only a syllable, not a complete tone. This dragon dust is very strong in other places. It seems that there is no talent in this aspect, and a sound has not been completely controlled. It's said that Yuedao needs to have Hugin. It can't be controlled by taking pains and killing time. I don't understand. He knows he can't do it. Why should he do it? Is he really happy to make a fool of himself? However, I have to admire his mental quality. He can still keep the appearance of a master and blow seriously when he blows so badly. The key is that he only plays one syllable, which doesn't match the whole tune. It's too hard to listen to. It's like a crow in a group of larks. It's so annoying. The scholar mocks Long Chen in different ways, but the practitioner can't stand it anymore. Originally, Long Chen's words were against the scholars, which made them have a good time. But the sound of Long Chen's flute is really irritating. Fortunately, the sound of Long Chen's flute is not very loud. I don't know whether it's reserved or I don't dare to play it very loud. When Qianshan Yingxue entered the final stage, the sound of Qin suddenly turned straight up. At that moment, Long Chen took a deep breath, the flute vibrated, and the loud sound of the flute resonated with the sound of Qin. It's like a kunpeng soaring up into the sky. At that moment, the pretty face of the woman in yellow was full of disbelief. Her jade hand slowly covered her lips. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3951 Melodious music, straight into the sky, even more majestic than before the woman in yellow, more grand atmosphere. At this time, people noticed that Long Chen was practicing this tone from the beginning to the end. Everything in front of him was preparing for this climax. The sound of the flute is like a tsunami. The high-pitched sound has the potential to pierce the clouds and crack the rocks. The sound is high but not sharp. It seems to penetrate the clouds and go straight into the sky of the universe. It brings people's soul into the endless sea of stars and makes people see an unprecedented space. S-tone is as like as 2 peas in yellow dress, but it brings different feelings. Before Huang Yi's performance, it seems as if someone else set up a high stage and she jumped up on the platform. The high pitch of Long Chen is like the eruption of a volcano on the seafloor, which sets off a water column. The water column breaks through the sky, and the force is continuous and unstoppable. The most important thing is that Long Chen's treble is not a single flute treble, but a combination of Liao Yuhuang's music. When the treble reaches the acme, it explodes like fireworks and reverberates in the sky for a long time. For a moment, the audience was silent. Those scholars who had been mocking and scolding all the time opened their mouths so wide that they couldn't believe their ears. Even laymen can feel the shock of the last treble. It goes deep into the soul and makes people never forget it. Even if they don't know the melody, they know that the treble of Longchen is higher than that of the woman in yellow. As practitioners, they are shocked one by one. The high voice of Longchen contains ethereal will, which is the height that can only be achieved by the worldly master who has no desire, and the saint who has the heart of compassion. A practitioner, in endless fighting and killing, has already lost his nature. How can he have such pure ethereal will? For a moment, the audience was silent and the needles could be heard. They were still immersed in the shock of the high voice. They couldn't calm down for a long time. After a long time, there was thunderous applause. The scholars who despised Longchen before, scolded and ridiculed him, were so ashamed that they wanted to find a way to get in. The last treble of Longchen covers up all the defects before. It's like a dragon painting. It's amazing and clever. Make a fool of yourself. In the face of the full applause, Longchen clasped his fist slightly, turned around and handed the flute to the woman in yellow, saying, "There is no natural leader in this world. A real leader must resonate with the leader, not the so-called one who has achieved everything. How can trees flourish if their roots are not strong? How can trees stand out when they are not prosperous? The same tune, your skill is thousands of times better than mine. If the fairy can understand the truth, the effect will be innumerable times better than the dragon. Wani was rude before. Thanks for your advice. Wani is very grateful. Please accept Wani's thanks." The woman in yellow suddenly prostrated herself in front of Longchen. She didn't call her elder brother Longchen anymore. She called her elder directly. This is the etiquette of the disciples. Longchen was surprised. He didn't expect that the woman in yellow would give such a big gift. He quickly reached out to help her. The fairy Wani is polite. I really only know a little about the melody, and I can't afford such a big gift. Are you still angry with Wani? If that's the case, Wani can't get up on her knees and beg for forgiveness. Longchen's big hand lifted the arm of the woman in yellow and refused to let her kneel down, while the woman in yellow kept a half-kneeling posture and refused to get up. Longchen was really angry before. He thought the woman in yellow was too stingy and looked up to her. But at this time, to see her line this gift, dragon dust gas also disappeared, hurriedly said, "Where the words, 'the road is different, we have different views,' express their views, mutual confirmation will grow. Dragon dust is not so stingy. In addition, don't call me any elder. You can look up to me. Just call me Brother Long. We'll make friends with each other." Hearing what Longchen said, seeing that Longchen was not really angry, the woman in yellow got up and said thanks to him again. "Brother Long's advice today makes Wani Cottage open. I hope I can often listen to Brother Long's instruction in the future." Longchen said with a bitter smile, "I really don't deserve it. I'm just a bystander. Yuedao is the closest practice to the way of heaven. I dare not say guidance in vain. Brother Long is too modest. It's because I pay too much attention to my skills and ignore the cooperation with my sisters." Before, Brother Long's words were so full of words, but Wani was so stupid that he couldn't listen to them. "I'm really ashamed." The woman in yellow looks ashamed. Thinking of her previous performance, she is a little embarrassed. Longchen said with a smile, "In fact, there's no need to be so tangled. What the fat white man said before is reasonable. Such a wonderful tune has been criticized by me. As a matter of fact, music is not only the voice of the heart, but also a kind of expression of lyricism. As long as you feel good and happy, it is the real way of music. If you blindly pursue skills, expression and cooperation with each other, and ignore the artistic conception, there will be no distinction between the primary and secondary." The white fat scholar heard that Longchen mentioned him, and his face was a little gloomy. It can be said that he had never suffered such humiliation in his life. He lowered his head and drank tea on his own, while other scholars did not dare to go to see Longchen. They wanted to go and were afraid to go, which was equivalent to showing everyone that they were afraid of Longchen, so they had to sit there and not go to see Longchen. Brother Long's good advice is written down by my younger sister. I will try my best to digest what I have got today. The woman in yellow is very humble. At this time, she respects Longchen from the bottom of her heart. Longchen is like a mirror. In front of Longchen, she finally sees another side of herself. Longchen suddenly moved in his heart and said to the woman in yellow, "Little sister, your skill seems to be inconsistent with your character. Do you realize it? My younger sister is practicing the Taifu Xingjue of Qin clan." The woman in yellow was surprised and couldn't help saying that. But in the middle of the conversation, she suddenly stopped. It belongs to the sect's secret. It seems that it's not convenient for people to disclose it. Taixing? What about the stars? Longchen felt that something was wrong when he heard the name of the skill. Is there any connection between Taifu Star Ju and Jiuxing Body Ju? Is the uncomfortable feeling due to the induction between the two dermis? Where do you live, Brother Long? If it's convenient, may I call on you? Asked the woman in yellow. I'm new here. I haven't got a place to live yet. Longchen tells the truth. That's not like coming to our Qin house. Let's discuss the music way together. My younger sister can just listen to Brother Long's teaching all the time. Hearing the place where Longchen didn't live, the woman in yellow's eyes lit up and sent out an invitation directly. Longchen didn't know for a moment whether he should refuse or promise. At this moment, someone in the distance exclaimed, and a group of martial people in palace robes came over. When they saw the warriors in the robes, the princes and daughters, they were surprised and recognized the origin of those people. There is a decree from the emperor. Let's see the dragon dust. At this time, a soft voice came, and then Longchen saw Wei Gonggong's cold eyes. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3952. Longchen didn't expect that Wei Gonggong suddenly appeared at the moment. Looking at Wei Gonggong with a gloomy smile on his mouth, it didn't seem to be a good thing. When Duke Wei arrived, the princes and daughters also stood up. Obviously, Duke Wei's status was not low, and even they did not dare to neglect him. Longchen didn't expect a eunuch to have such a big reputation. It seems that Longchen underestimated him. When Duke Wei arrived, everyone was stunned. How could the emperor ask Longchen to meet him? What's the origin of this man? The emperor of Zhuge Empire is so noble that no one can see him if he wants to. Now Longchen is invited by name, and countless people begin to doubt his identity. Duke Wei walked up to Longchen with a gloomy smile on his mouth. His eyes were full of sinister color. Behind him, there were a group of powerful people in the divine realm, and they were also the most powerful people in the divine realm. This group of people look at Longchen coldly, and their eyes seem to be born with arrogance. Even in front of these princes and princes, they are still indifferent and don't look at all princes and princes. Longchen, I've been waiting for you for a long time. You're here at last. What's up? I have told your majesty about you. Do you want to thank me? Ha ha. Duke Wei laughed, his voice full of pride. Obviously, you told the emperor a lot of good news, but he didn't tell him. He was very dislike of dragons and dust. He knew that the dragon and the ashes would come. He had already laid his eyelid. In fact, when the dragon dust appeared in the conflict with the great prince, he had already reported to Wei Gonggong. The reason why Duke Wei came here now is because he wanted to meet the emperor. Even the eunuchs around the emperor didn't mean they could see him. They also needed to be informed. After meeting the emperor, Duke Wei pointed to the arrival of Longchen and added some words. Then he led the emperor to find Longchen. At this time, to see the dragon dust, Duke Wei can be said to be complacent, a strategist, waiting to see the dragon dust how to die posture. Oh, Mr. Wei, you have a brilliant smile? Are you short of money recently? Why not laugh? In the face of Wei Gonggong's smile, Longchen said with a smile. Dragon dust. This sentence all of a sudden scared everyone. Wei Gonggong is the emperor's red man. Dragon dust so offended him, not to die? The smile on Wei Gonggong's face gradually solidified, his eyes were full of murders, and his face was gloomy. Just keep going crazy. How long do you think you can go crazy? You'd better understand what this place is and behave yourself. I can't see how long I'm mad as far as your life expectancy is concerned. Dragon dust light tunnel. Duke Wei said with a smile. Without Xia Guhong's support, you are not as good as a dog. How dare you come to Zhuge Empire to propose marriage? You don't pee. What's your virtue? Is Princess Qingxian something you can touch? Princess Qingxian? The strong men on the scene were all surprised that the man in black wanted to propose marriage to Princess Qingxian. You know, Princess Qingxian claims to have the strongest blood of Jiuli in the Rosefinch Empire. Is this boy crazy? Snow Princess Qian, who wanted to bet with Long Chen before, also has a look of shock on her face. Long Chen's target is Yu Qingxian. Remembering that Long Chen refused to bet with her before, she can't help but feel angry. Take care of yourself? I haven't done this before. Why don't you give me a demonstration? I don't know whether you urinate standing or squatting, Duke Wei? In the face of Wei Gonggong's sarcasm, Long Chenpi doesn't move. The whole audience was silent, and even those who were in the palace robes were looking at Long Chen with a dull face. Long Chen's words are taboo. It's a great insult for eunuchs to say such things. Duke Wei's face twisted for a moment. Little beast do. Pa. Before waiting for Duke Wei, Long Chen slapped him in the face and waved his big hand. Pa pa pa. One breath is 16 big mouths in one go. Before those who wear palace robes can react, Long Chen has finished smoking. He grabs Duke Wei's neck and lifts him up. Duke Wei was white and fat, but now his face is swollen, 3 times bigger than before. He is beaten into a pig's head. Stop it. Those who are strong in the divine realm are surprised and angry. They never dreamed that a little monk in the fairyland would dare to hit people here, and their weapons point to Long Chen. But Long Chen didn't look at their weapons. He looked coldly at Wei Gonggong in his hand. Try to scold again? Duke Wei was so surprised and angry that he was caught by Long Chen. He couldn't use all his strength at all. He was so confused that his life had been pinched by Long Chen. Put down Duke Wei, or don't blame me for being ruthless. A strong man said angrily. If you don't dare to kill the pig, I will never accept any threat. Long Chen cold tunnel. You. Those who wear palace robes are very angry. They have never seen such arrogant people in their life. They have no royal power. Really not? What if I asked you to put it down? At this time, the void trembled. A voice came from afar, shaking the universe, straight into the soul, with unparalleled prestige. Put on. As soon as the voice appeared, all the people present, whether they were princes, princesses, or scholars, fell to their knees. The voice came from afar, with endless power. The whole Rosefinch city is full of endless echoes, which is awe-inspiring. Your Majesty, this man is arrogant and domineering, defying the statutes, and trying to catch up with His Royal Highness. By Long Chen grasps the throat, hears that voice. Wei Gonggong struggles to do his best to shout away. Pa pa pa. As Long Chen waved his hand, he had 32 big mouths again. This round, Duke Wei's face was directly cut open, and his head was almost burst. As I said, Mr. Long is not threatened by anyone. If you don't believe me, you can continue to call for a try. Long Chen looks at Wei Gonggong, who is almost beaten to waste in his hand. Cold tunnel. Boy bold. There was a roar in the city. It was obvious that the man was angry. As he was angry, the whole Rosefinch city trembled. You're right. I've always been brave, or I wouldn't have come to Zhuge Empire alone to ask for a wife. In the face of the roar of the Emperor of the Rosefinch Empire, Long Chen shrugged. Come here, boy. There was a roar from the depths of the imperial capital. Who? When Long Chen throws his father-in-law Wei on the ground, he hums. Just as he is about to get up, Long Chen's big foot steps on his head. The huge force makes the bricks on the ground burst and his head is trampled into the soil. As if nothing had happened to Long Chen, he walked out with 4 steps. Wei's arrogant eyes were dazed by the dust. Who is this guy? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3953, Son of a bitch, how dare you disobey me? In a magnificent hall, on the dragon chair, a middle-aged man with a dignified face and square cheeks, with a look of anger on his face. His breath was as powerful as the sea, with the grace of the emperor. His eyes were like electricity, and his face was gloomy. In the hall, there were dozens of strong men in yellow suits, standing quietly on both sides, not daring to speak. Although they are very old, they are very terrible. The middle-aged man was no other than Yu Xiaoyun, the emperor of Zhuge Empire. On his dragon chair, there was a huge plaque with 3 big characters, Yuqin Hall, written on it. Yuqin Hall is the place where the emperor deals with his family affairs. People who can enter this hall are highly respected in the royal family. To put it bluntly, most of the old people here are the emperor's uncles. Usually, only when the prince and the daughter make a big mistake will the imperial palace be opened to discuss the royal affairs. Your Majesty, calm down. I've inquired about it. The origin of this dragon dust is unusual. Young man, it's arrogant and normal. Next to Yu Xiaoyun's dragon chair, there are 2 beautiful women. One of them is somewhat similar to Yu Qingxian. She is Yu Qingchuan's mother, and the person who spoke is her. Young man, I don't know the heaven and the earth. They'll see if he has 3 heads and 6 arms and dares to speak to me like this. Yu Xiaoyun hummed coldly. Yu Qingchuan's mother and another woman beside Yu Xiaoyun look at each other. They both have a look of banter in their eyes. I'm afraid it's interesting. Xuanlongchen enters the palace, with the eunuch's cry at the door. In the eyes of several people, Longchen, dressed in black robes, slowly comes in. This time, without being reminded by others, Longchen put away the Ming Hong Dao. After all, he came to propose marriage. He brought the Dao with him, which was not like words. As soon as Longchen came in, he felt that the atmosphere in the hall suddenly became surprised. Everyone's eyes swept over him like a sharp blade, as if they wanted to see through him. Yuqin Hall is very big. Yu Xiaoyun sits on the dragon chair and looks coldly at Longchen step by step. Longchen takes a look around him. Others look at him, and he also looks at others. It's very rude to look around in the imperial palace. If the prince or the daughter dares to do this, he will directly blame 20. But Longchen doesn't care. On the one hand, he doesn't understand it. On the other hand, even if he understands it, he also wants to see it. Otherwise, doesn't he seem to have no momentum? How about later? When Longchen saw Yu Xiaoyun's face, he put down most of his heart. This Yu Xiaoyun is not Yu Xiaoyun from Tianwu continent. He looks completely different, and his character is also completely different, so he can rest assured. When you see the woman beside Yu Xiaoyun, Longchen recognizes it at a glance. It must be Yu Qingchuan's mother. I've met my aunt, I'm very grateful to you. I came here in a hurry and didn't prepare a big gift. It's really impolite. Please don't blame me. Instead of paying attention to Yu Xiaoyun, Longchen gives a gift to Yu Qingchuan's mother. Yu Qingchuan's mother looks at Longchen, smiles and nods. She is very friendly to Longchen, but she doesn't speak because she can't speak at this time. It's not just impolite. It's rude. There's an order of proprieties, and there's no distinction between the elder and the younger. Next to an old man cold tunnel. Obviously, Longchen didn't kowtow to the emperor first, but saluted the queen first, which was a great disrespect to the emperor and a felony. Longchen then looks at Yu Xiaoyun, and Yu Xiaoyun also looks at Longchen. They don't speak, so they stare. For a moment, the breath in the hall seems to be static, and the needle can be heard. Longchen is also patient. He just sticks his neck to see Yu Xiaoyun. Yu Xiaoyun's face is gloomy and silent. He looks down at Longchen coldly. Half an hour later, Yu Xiaoyun finally couldn't help it, and said in a cold voice, "What's the reason for being rude? Do you think I'm not worthy of your worship? I, Longchen, stand up to heaven and earth. I only kneel down to my parents in my life. I don't worship my parents in heaven and earth. Now that you have spoken, it means that you have agreed. My father-in-law is here. Please accept my son-in-law's worship." When Longchen talks, he will bow down. Stop it. When did I say yes? Yu Xiaoyun was furious and waved his hand. Before Longchen could worship him, he was pushed back by a powerful force. Dang dang dang, Longchen retreated 3 steps in a row, and his body shook for a while, then Yu Xiaoyun's power was dissolved. Longchen's heart was awe-inspiring, and Yu Xiaoyun was so powerful. The power is not only powerful, but also strong and soft, sending and receiving freely. With the power of Longchen, The people who can push him so quietly are absolutely terrible. But Long Chen only retreated 3 steps and stabilized himself. All the people in the imperial palace, including Yu Xiaoyun, were shocked. According to Yu Xiaoyun's power, under normal circumstances, in the case of less than the reaction of Long Chen, he should fly out of the hall directly. Even if you are prepared, you should try your best to resist. The ground will launch a defensive array because it bears huge power. However, Long Chen retreated 3 steps, not to mention destroying the ground, even the carpet under his feet. Yu Xiaoyun's power was dissolved in his body and did not extend to his feet. This time, everyone looked at Long Chen with new eyes. What? Is your majesty going to rebel? It doesn't seem to fit your identity, does it? Long Chen said with a smile. Seeing that, Yu Qingquan's mother can't help but smile. Long Chen is very cunning and seizes an opportunity to stick it up. It's really thick-skinned. Nonsense, you kneel down. That's the etiquette of our Rosefinch Empire. If you enter our Rosefinch Empire, you must abide by the law of our Rosefinch Empire. In the 9th 5. Don't you deserve to kneel down? Yu Xiaoyun cold tunnel by not kneel down, he does not care, but the expression of Long Chen make him very uncomfortable. Do you have anything to do with me, the 9th 5 or the 9th 8? I worship you because you are my father-in-law. Long Chen stall. Can you say such a brazen thing? Your accomplishments are ordinary and your appearance is plain. What qualifications do you have to marry my favorite daughter? Yu Xiaoyun said angrily. In plain? You've grown up to be such a force that you can marry my mother-in-law. What qualifications do you have to say about me? Long Chen is also angry. He looks at Yu Qingquan's mother with an unconvinced face. At that moment, the whole imperial palace fell into a dead silence again, and those imperial relatives and relatives on the scene were numb. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3954, Puqi, Yu Qingquan's mother and another woman laugh at the same time, but then they find that this is not a place to laugh. They quickly turn their faces and dare not go to see Long Chen and Yu Xiaoyun. Yu Xiao's face is black. He has seen everything in his life, but it's the first time that someone dares to point his nose and scold him. The other royal strongmen looked at Yu Xiaoyun and Long Chen, and each of them did not dare to say anything. However, they had to admit that although Yu Xiaoyun was not ugly, it had nothing to do with being handsome. Long Chen was right, but they did not dare to tell the truth. You fart. Yu Xiaoyun can't help it any longer, pointing to Long Chen's nose and scolding angrily. Your Majesty, pay attention to decency. At this time, an old man couldn't help cheering. He was a wrinkled old man who could hardly see his eyes. He was a man of activated stone level and the oldest generation in the royal family of the Rosefinch Empire. Even the emperor should respect him for 3 points, and he has a very big voice here. If he thinks that the emperor's treatment of his children is unfair, he has the right to veto the emperor's practice, open the royal assembly and vote. So when the old man opened his mouth, Yu Xiaoyun took a deep breath and suppressed his anger. Long Chen's eyes were rolling around. Seeing that the old man even dared to scold the emperor, it seems that the Zhuge Empire attached great importance to seniority. What elder brother Xia Guhong said is right. If there is no good way, it's better to insist. The secret way in Long Chen's heart. Before leaving, Xia Guhong once took care of him. Yu Xiaoyun has a bad temper. If you are honest, he doesn't like it. If you are not honest, he still doesn't like it. If you can't bow your head to please him, it's better to work hard. But one thing, don't offend his 2 queens, as long as the 2 queens coax well, everything is not a problem. So here, Long Chen has been struggling whether to get along well with Yu Xiaoyun, but his temper is not good. Can you really resist it? In addition, if there is too much forbearance, will there be too many negative emotions? If there are too many negative emotions, there will be dark forces. Will that wake up the demons? But when Wei Gonggong appeared, Long Chen decided to come directly, otherwise he would not be bullied to death by Wei Gonggong. I don't know the rules and etiquette at all. I even beat others in the street. With your character, what's the right to touch my daughter? Yu Xiaoyun cheered coldly. What's the use of etiquette? In the sky fire world, it will devour you. Why don't you tell Yenza's son rules? Etiquette? Why did I beat that Duke Wei? Didn't he insult me first? I didn't kill him. I've already given Qingxian face. Otherwise, even if he has 10 lives, it's not enough. Long Chen called Hum Wei. You are threatening with kindness, not by a gentleman. Yu Xiaoyun said angrily. Long Chen points out that in the world of Skyfire, Yan Hong, Yenza's son, wants to devour Yu Qingxian. In order to get her rainbow, he saves Yu Qingxian. Everyone knows about this. In this way, Long Chen is Yu Qingchuan's life-saving benefactor. As soon as Long Chen throws it out, the taste changes. I'm really in love with Qingxian. I don't want to die for her. Can I blackmail her? Long Chen called Hum Wei. You're so special. Please keep your mouth clean. Yu Xiaoyun finally can't bear to roar. Your Majesty, pay attention to your attitude, pay attention to your manners, and utter filthy words. Is that the demeanor of a king of a country? The old man who can't be any older reminds coldly. But it is he who utters filthy words first. Why don't you care about him? Yu Xiao's face turned black and said to the old man. He's just a child. He's the most common civilian in our Rosefinch Empire. And you're the king of a country, but you're yelling at a common man and uttering filthy words? What's the point? The old man said. Yu Xiao's whole body trembled, and his fingers pointed at Long Chen. Okay boy, you are cruel. Dragon dust a sea, first is a lung, then found wrong. It seems that this place, not the emperor said, but like to discuss together. Turning her eyes, Long Chen put away her previous arrogance and said, Your Majesty, although I'm arrogant, I don't know who I am. Qingxian is the one I love deeply. To me, she is more important than my life. Although I'm empty-handed, I come here with a sincere heart. I didn't bring any betrothal gifts because no betrothal gifts can compare with Qingxian. The betrothal gifts are a kind of blasphemy to Princess Qingxian, so I came with my life. Long Chen's words are quite pleasant to hear, but there's no way. Long Chen really has no experience and doesn't know what dowry to give. In addition, it's not too embarrassing if he gives the dowry and is directly rejected. Hearing what Long Chen said, Yu Qingchuan's mother and another woman nodded slightly. Although he was arrogant, he knew how to measure. However, Yu Xiaoyun was in a state of anger. The soft words of Long Chen had another meaning in his ears. He could not help but said angrily, Do you mean that if I don't agree, I'll fight like hell with you? What a joke. I'm afraid of your threat? Long Chen almost didn't turn up in one breath. Is my language ability degenerating now? He could understand it like this. Your Majesty, what Long Chen means is that he's willing to go through fire and water for Qingxian. He's sincere. The beautiful woman said with a smile. Seeing the beautiful woman talking for herself, Long Chen immediately feels grateful. Suddenly, Long Chen suddenly realizes that Qingxian has already passed the anger with her mother. Otherwise, how can the beautiful woman help herself? Think of here, Long Chen's heart suddenly has bottom. Have two empresses support, everything is easy to do. Sincerely? Marriage affairs, parents' orders, matchmakers' words, all things have to have a constitution, and if you mess around, you will only make a joke. How can you be sincere? Yu Xiaoyun is not happy with Long Chen, so he is cold. By the way, son, why didn't your parents come? The beautiful woman asked Long Chen. When it comes to his parents, Long Chen's face darkens. He suddenly thinks of his parents who are far away, and he doesn't know how they are getting along. At the same time, I think of my parents. I haven't seen them since I was born. Now I don't even know where they are. Long Chen's lips moved a few times when the woman asked, but he didn't know how to say it. Yu Qingchuan's mother and the woman see that Long Chen's face is different. There is a touch of sadness in their eyes, but they don't speak. They look at each other and realize that it's wrong. Is the child an orphan? Yu Qingchuan's mother hurriedly said, Long Chen, it's not so easy for you to marry Qingxian. You have to be prepared. Queen Yu. Looking at Xiaoxuan's mother's face, yes, displeasure appears. Yu Qingchuan's mother's words are like telling Long Chen that they will not refuse him, but there will be many tests. Young man, Do you really want to marry the princess? At this time, the old man who continued to reprimand the emperor spoke. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3955. Longchen looks at the old man and understands in his heart that emotion is really the final word? Of course, Longchen nodded. The old man's smile, muddy old eyes, with a sense of inexplicable, this is not easy? It's not impossible to be difficult. It's valuable to be able to be difficult. No matter how difficult it is, I will marry Qingxian. Longchen is determined. If you are young, you'd better talk about it with your majesty. According to the law of the Rosefinch Empire, civilians are not allowed to marry the princess. They are only qualified to propose marriage to the princess if they either get an official title or become a general. To get an official title, you need to have a clear resume of 3 generations and no record of committing crimes. The minimum requirement is that you need to be admitted to the Hanlin Academy. No wonder that white fat man is so powerful. He has the qualification to be an equal with the prince and princess. Longchen suddenly realized. Foul language is forbidden in the palace. Behind Longchen, an old man cheered coldly. Longchen took a look at the old man and found that the old man's face was like noodles. Longchen wanted to say, how can Nyobi become a foul language? However, the old man who questioned Longchen didn't respond. He continued, the academician, who has learned a lot, has been studying hard for decades. He stands out among thousands of students. He is a pillar of the country in the future, so his identity is different. Just now I talked about getting an official title. Now I'm going to talk about the title of General Feng worshipping Shuai. It's a battle between martial arts and Taoism. You need to start from an ordinary soldier and be promoted according to your merit until you get the title of General Gongfeng. Just like the Hanlin bachelor, you have the qualification to propose marriage to the princess. There should be conditions after that, right? Longchen asked. Of course, the royal family needs to be present for examination before they submit the marriage documents. In the process of auditing, the most important thing is to evaluate your conduct, character, and virtue. The content of the evaluation is that you may cheat, violate the law, and have immoral behavior in the process of getting an official title or being promoted to general. People present, after voting and approval, you need to complete the 3 tests set by the panel and the 3 extremely difficult tests before you can successfully marry the princess. All of the above must be based on the prince's willingness to marry you, otherwise everything will be out of the question. The old man said, anything else? Longchen asked. After marriage, in order to ensure that blood does not run off, children should follow their mother's surname, or choose the surname of Zhuge country, such as Zhu and Hua. In other words, you are entering Zhuge Empire. The old man continued. Anything else? The old man laughed, looked at Yu Xiaoyun on the dragon chair and said, what's more, that's the most important point. Even if you meet all the conditions as a father, your majesty has 1 vote of veto. At this time, Yu Xiaoyun looks at Longchen, with a smile on his mouth, which is a little overcast. Everyone thought that Longchen was either disheartened or furious, but he didn't expect that Longchen's face was calm and said faintly, it's not a matter. No matter how hard you make things difficult for me, Qingxian, I must marry him. Seeing that Longchen is so calm, the strong on the scene can't help but be moved. The most difficult one is frightening. Is this young man really so sure? Even Yu Xiaoyun is shocked. He has a veto right. He finally disagrees. All the efforts of Longchen are in vain. But Longchen's confident appearance makes him a little uneasy. Is this boy ready? Yu Xiaoyun couldn't help looking at the 2 queens, who seemed to appreciate Longchen's performance, but didn't say anything else. How can Longchen be sure and prepared? Yu Xiaoyun thinks highly of him. Longchen thinks that you are so difficult to me. It is impossible to succeed. Since I'm not successful, he'll have to go through the assessment. They'll just fool around for a while. I can't do it. They'll take your princess away. When I come here, I don't want this face. I can do anything shameless for Qingxian. If Yu Xiaoyun and his relatives knew what Longchen thought, they would fight together and kill this shameless boy alive. Can you hear the rules? Asked the old man. No problem. I'm willing to give everything for Qingxian. What's a little test worth? Anyway, I didn't plan to follow their rules. The whole person was relaxed and just generous. If you have a reasonable chance to pass the appeal panel, you can reduce the difficulty. The old man said. Long Chen quickly waved his hand and said, No, Princess Qingxian is extremely beautiful. In my heart she is the 9 immortals. She is the love in my heart and more important than my life. Even if I die for her thousands of times, I would like to. Don't lower the difficulty. It doesn't show my sincerity. It's a kind of blasphemy to Princess Qingxian. I tell you, if anyone dares to lower the difficulty, I'm anxious with him. See, Long Chen said so firmly, the people present, you look at me, I look at you, heart with a touch of shock color. It seems that this Long Chen really courage commendable. If that's the case, sign on the appraisal document. If you can't pass it, you can't complain. The old man took out a book. It's a piece of waste paper. Since Yu Xiaoyun can veto it with 1 vote, all the ceremonies are just a decoration. If you play like this, you'll play as well. When you see who can play with whom, you can see who is more shameless than whom. In this respect, Long Chen is not afraid of anyone. After the document was signed, Long Chen took out 2 brocade boxes and respectfully handed them to Yu Qingchuan's mother and another empress. I'm so abrupt that I didn't prepare any gifts. I'd like to invite my 2 aunts to accept them. Are you bribing the queen? Yu Xiaoyun Cold Tunnel. Your Majesty has stressed that this is a piece of filial piety of children. If you fail, isn't it too impolite? Our Rosefinch Empire is a land of etiquette. How can we turn away a piece of filial piety of children? Yu Qingchuan's mother said with a smile, and then went to pick up the gift from Long Chen. Yu Xiaoyun's face changed. He looked at the 2 queens in disbelief. He felt that they were wrong. It seemed that his 2 queens didn't dislike Long Chen. He smelled the smell of conspiracy. Son, as an elder, we have nothing to give you. You come to our Zhuke Empire and want to marry the princess of the empire. Whether you succeed or not, you will be regarded as a member of our Zhuke Empire for the time being. This identity plate is for you. It will be more convenient for you to walk in the empire in the future. With these words, Yu Qingchuan's mother hands Long Chen a golden jade card. When they saw the golden jade plate, everyone's face changed slightly. The old man frowned and said, Queen, are you wrong? www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3956, It's not polite to come but not go. Because of his modesty, Long Chen gave up the opportunity to plead. Why not give him an identity plate as a gift in return? What's more, this identity plate will only make Long Chen less cumbersome identity authentication. Even without this nameplate, it's only a matter of time for Long Chen to get such a nameplate. Instead of wasting time on tedious procedures, it's better to be more direct and enter the formal stage. We should know that the time of practitioners is very precious, and it's meaningless to waste it. Yu Qingchuan's mother said, Oh, my mother-in-law is better. It's paving the way for me. Hee, there's nothing to be afraid of. Long Chen's heart is in full bloom. It seems that Qingxian has been angry with her mother for a long time. The future mother-in-law seems to like him very much, and everything goes very well. Although the emperor doesn't like him, it doesn't matter. Brother Guhong said that if Yu Xiaoyun didn't have 2 excellent queens, he would not have today. Yu Xiaoyun is the boss of Zhuke Empire, but the 2 queens are the boss of his family. The practitioner is arrogant and impetuous in nature. I think that some links should not be ignored. Seeing the big from the small is just a test to see whether Long Chen can stand the temperament, and also the key to test a person's character. An old man's cold tunnel without breath. The old man is an old scholar and a member of the royal family. His royal disciples are both civil and martial arts. Although they emphasize martial arts, they also respect literature. So there are many scholars among the royal family. Yes, Empress, if you give Long Chen this identity jade card, it is tantamount to opening a small kitchen for Long Chen, which is unfair. If this test is unfair at the beginning, then there is no need to continue the test. Another old man came forward. Obviously, they are not optimistic about Longchen, and they don't like Longchen's domineering and uninhibited personality. Some people came out against it in succession. The two empresses, who were originally smiling and kind, gradually pulled their faces down, but the emperor closed his mouth when he saw the situation. "I'm very busy," said the two aunts-in-law. "A little test is just a piece of cake. My heart to Qingxian is to show the sun and the moon. Will I be afraid of these little tests? I have confidence in myself and Qingxian. I hope the two aunts have confidence in their younger generation. Believe me, I can handle everything." Originally opposed by so many people, Yu Qingquan's mother couldn't hold her face any longer. After all, Longchen gives gifts. He is a junior. As an elder, how can he say that he doesn't give gifts back? These old guys opposed in public and didn't give them any face at all. They must be a little upset. But Longchen's face is smiling and confident. Yu Qingquan's mother looks better. "Good boy, my aunt owes you this time. It doesn't matter. As time goes by, my aunt will always have a chance to make it up." Yu Qingquan's mother nodded. How clever is Longchen? How can he not hear this pun? This put clear, tell him, "Don't be afraid, she will give Longchen open the back door." Seeing the surprise in Longchen's eyes, Yu Qingquan's mother smiles and says, "This child is a smart ghost. Now that everything has been settled, I'll leave with my aunt. I'm going to prepare for the test." Longchen salutes Yu Qingquan's mother and another queen again and turns to leave. When Longchen left, the old people saluted the emperor and the queen one after another. After the salute, the emperor got up and gave the oldest old man a present. It was not until the old man was sent out of the gate that he returned to the main hall. When he returned to the main hall, there were only 3 people left in the hall. Without everyone else, Yu Qingquan's mother and the queen looked at Yu Shaoyun, and Yu Shaoyun also looked at them and said coldly, "You don't have to look at me. I hate that boy. I can't marry my daughter. I don't care what the girl said to you, anyway, I don't agree with you." "Why?" Yu Qingquan's mother and another queen almost spoke in unison. "In the 9th 5, and Qingxian is my daughter. If I don't like it, I don't like it. If I don't agree, I don't agree. What's the reason?" Yu Shaoyun said angrily. "I'm afraid it's not up to you." Yu Qingquan's mother said, "Why? My daughter, don't I have the right to manage it?" Yu Shaoyun said angrily, "Look at you, and you know that you are the master of 9 or 5. If you can't say a word, why do you yell? Does roar work? Roar is useful. Donkeys have ruled the world for a long time, and you scare a group of honest children. Do you think you can frighten people by roaring at Longchen?" Yu Qingquan's mother shook her head. "You, even if you are Qingquan's father, but Huixin is also Qingquan's mother. At least she has half the power of the meat that falls from her body. In addition, I'm also her mother. I have at least 10% of the power. The two of us together have 60%. The queen advised. Without waiting for her to finish, Yu Shaoyun waved his hand and said, "I know that you must have colluded with me. Don't reason with me. My daughter, I'm in charge." Yu Shaoyun said that, he turned and walked away, refusing to continue to reason with them. Over the years, Yu Shaoyun understood a truth, that is, don't reason with women, don't win. What's more, they were 2 women, and they were 2 extremely powerful women. He knew that he couldn't talk about it and left directly. As soon as Yu Shaoyun left, there were only 2 of them left in the hall. Yu Qingquan's mother shook her head and said, "This guy, the higher his accomplishments are, the hotter his temper will be and the more stubborn his character will be. Sister Huixin, you don't have to worry. Brother Shaoyun will figure it out. It's just a matter of time. Let's be more patient and give him a little time." The queen comforted. "Thank you, Longxin. With you by my side, I feel more at ease." Yu Qingquan's mother sighed. Yu Qingquan's mother's name is Jiang Huixin, and the other queen's name is Su Longxing. She is also 2 people who lived together as empress in the Zhuge Empire. Qingxian asked me to give the nameplate to Longchen and help him. It can be seen that Qingxian really fell in love with this boy. Unfortunately, as a mother, I didn't help him. Jiang Huixin was a little ashamed. Sister Huixin, to tell you the truth, although this dragon dust is handsome in appearance and extraordinary in temperament, he has a glib voice and a rather arrogant and uninhibited personality. Maybe he is not the candidate entrusted for life. Su Lanxin hesitated for a moment, or a gritted teeth way. In fact, she is not very optimistic about Long Chen. As long as Qingxian likes it, I will support her. I know my daughter is better than my mother. Loving someone is like poisoning. There's no cure for it. Why don't we? Look at Xiao Yun's bad temper. He doesn't look so good. Why did we fall in love with him at the beginning? Jiang Xindao. Two people look at each other. Suddenly thought of you, Xiao Yun said. Dragon dust looks flat. Dragon dust counterattacked that picture. They couldn't help laughing, especially when they thought of Yu Zhaoyan's anger, but he couldn't fight back. By the way, let's see what the child brought to us. Women are very curious, saying words. The two quietly opened the box. When the box opened the moment, two faces emerged, a strong color of shock. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3957. Inside the brocade box, there are two fist-sized jujube-colored wine pots. On the wine pot, there is a rosefinch. There are 7 auspicious clouds around the rosefinch. The rosefinch seems to be alive and has the potential to fly high into the sky. 7 auspicious clouds have 7 different colors. If you look at them carefully, there are thousands of runes in the auspicious cloud pattern. These runes form a complete array. The 7 auspicious clouds are the 7 arrays, and the energy flows back and forth between them. If you can depict such complex patterns on the wine pot, even if you are a layman, you know that the wine pot is a wonderful treasure. The auspicious clouds are shrouded, the rosefinch is about to fly, and the endless energy flows in the wine pot, as if it were a world of its own. Is this the legendary Zhuke pear flower wine? Jiang Huixin looks at the wine pot in her hand, and her face is full of shock. The clouds are colorful, and the rosefinch's eyes are dark purple. This is the rosefinch with purple eyes. The rosefinch with purple eyes likes the fire pear flower, and only casts its nest on the fire pear flower. I'm afraid it's true. Su Lanxin looked at it carefully for a moment, and his face was shocked. If it's true, this gift is too precious. Look at the mark on the seal. This wine has a history of at least 1 million years. It's likely to be an orphan. Wine pot with its own tactics, absorbing the essence of heaven and earth, nourishing the wine in it, for millions of years. This wine has no idea how pure it is. Jiang Huixin stroked the wine pot. His eyes were full of shock color. Dragon dust, really big hand. Shenhua pear flower has almost disappeared. Even if it has, every petal is very valuable. How can anyone collect tens of millions of petals to make wine? Open it. Otherwise, my heart will be itchy. Su Lanxin advised. Jiang Huixin looks at the wine pot and hesitates. This is the most precious thing in the world. If it is true, once it is opened, the array on the wine pot will be useless, and the wine must be drunk up in a few days, otherwise the wine power will gradually dissipate. Although the two of them are empresses of the empire, they have only heard of this legendary wine, but they have never seen it. Women's curiosity itself is heavy, and the origin of these 2 pots of wine is extraordinary, but once opened, the world is missing a pot, quite a sense of guilt. Sister, open it. There are 2 pots anyway. If it's true, there's another pot. What if it's the kid who fooled us? That guy, Gu Lingjing, I think he can do anything. Su Lan is sincere. If Long Chen makes 2 pots to fool them, they are not willing to open them. In case they open them on an important occasion and they are empty, or they don't contain rosefinch pear flower wine, they will be lost. Jiang Huixin hesitated for a moment, and finally slowly opened the seal of the pot mouth. When the seal of the pot mouth moved, a burning force flicked Jiang Huixin's hand away. Buzz, the wine pot floats on the void, and the vast breath is like a volcano about to erupt, which makes the whole hall tremble. Boom! On the ground, on the walls, on the pillars, and on the roof of the hall, countless runes lit up, which automatically triggered the defensive array. Seeing this formation, they looked at each other. I'm afraid the wine won't be fake. Kaka kaka. The seal on the top of the pot mouth has 2 layers inside and outside, and the 2 runes rotate in reverse. At this time, a loud sound of birds seems to have come from ancient times and comes straight into the soul. At the same time, the magic light on the wine pot trembled, the runes all lit up, the colorful auspicious clouds fluttered, and it was faintly visible that the ancient rosefinch waved its wings, followed by a strong smell of wine. With the smell of wine overflowing, the temperature in the whole hall rose rapidly. Boom! The hall trembled, and the figure of an archaic rosefinch flew out of the wine pot, circled in the hall for a week, and finally slowly disappeared, and the endless flame was slowly scattered. When the archaic rosefinch disappeared, the hall stopped shaking, and the array of the hall began to recover slowly, and everything became the same again. However, the smell of wine in the hall overflowed, and they felt drunk. When they looked at the wine pot again, they found that the ancient rosefinch on the wine pot had disappeared. Although the colorful auspicious clouds were still there, they had begun to fade. Jiang Huixin and Su Lanxin look at each other and see the shock in each other's eyes. Jiang Huixin takes out 2 cups. The wine in the jug was slowly poured into the glass. At first, the wine turned amber. When it was put into the glass, it was boiling slowly, just like magma surging. The powerful flame fluctuated. Even the 2 of them were shocked. 2 people raised their glasses to drink, when the wine like throat, but not as strong as they imagined, the mouth like honey, teeth cheek fragrance, when the wine into the belly, mellow heat flow quickly spread all over the body. The 2 people's whole body was in flames, but they were ignited by the beautiful wine. They bathed in the flames and slowly closed their eyes. In their minds, they came up with the scene of pear blossom flying and rosefinch flying in the sky. After a long time, they opened their eyes. In their eyes, they were shocked and could not recover for a long time. This rosefinch pearflower wine is more powerful than the legend. Our cultivation has reached this level, and the power of fire can continue to be purified. Maybe it can bring us a breakthrough opportunity. This gift is too heavy. Jiang Huixin looked at the small wine pot with complicated eyes. Although it's just a small wine pot, it has its own space and can hold thousands of cups of wine. It's hard to get a drop of this level of wine, let alone thousands of cups. The child has a heart. Su Lanxin also sighed. Before, she didn't like Longchen very much, but Longchen could take out such a precious gift, which shows his intention and attention. In fact, Longchen didn't know what the wine was. Xia Guhong gave it to him and told him it was for the 2 queens. He just did what Xia Guhong said. Take someone's hand short and drink someone's mouth soft. Let's go. Let's invite your majesty to have a taste. Jiang Huixin picked up the wine pot. Brother Xiaoyun knows it's from Longchen. I'm afraid he won't drink it if he's killed. Su Lanxin shakes her head and says that she knows Yu Zhaoyun's temper too well. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he doesn't know that the wine was given by Longchen. We can fake it as a gift of Longchen with other things. We can cheat him to drink it first. When he knows it later, it's too late. Jiang Huixin said with a smile. That's a good idea. Su Lanxin smiles, and they leave the hall with a smile. Longchen, just as Longchen came out of the hall, he was led by the eunuch. After a short walk, he heard someone calling. Longchen is overjoyed and turns around to see Yu Qingxian in a palace dress, just like a gorgeous fairy appearing in front of Longchen. Her pretty face is like a peach blossom with a sweet smile. Qingxian, dragon dust hurried to Yu Qingxian before, just to stretch out to pull Yu Xian, but was blocked by a big figure. Where's the mountain village husband? So do not understand the rules, dare to be rude to the princess. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3958. Longchen looked at the tall figure, which was a man who looked 40 or 50 years old, a whole head higher than Longchen. However, this man is tall and strong, but his face is white and he doesn't need to be fat. His flesh is fluffy. But from his shoulders, the overall trend is still inverted triangle. If it is a strong man, it is nothing but such a fat man, it gives people a very strange feeling. The tall eunuch looked at Long Chen coldly. Behind him, there were several little eunuchs, one by one, looking coldly at Long Chen with arrogant eyes. Long Chen, this is Gongli. Yu Qingxian was a little embarrassed and said that this is not another place. There are many rules. Let Long Chen not mind. Understand, there will be a father-in-law in the palace. Long Chen says with a smile, Long Chen hates these guys. You rely on the latter point to keep a distance from your royal highness. The tall eunuch reached out to push Long Chen and motioned for Long Chen to step back, but when his hand reached Long Chen, a strong force hit, the tall eunuch snorted, his body shook, and he fell back. Several young eunuchs behind him exclaimed in surprise and rushed to help the tall eunuch. As a result, more than a dozen young eunuchs were rolled out at the same time. Long Chen, Yu Qingxian was startled and quickly grabbed Long Chen. Not everyone can touch my dragon dust. Next time you dare to do it to me and take off your arm. Long Chen looked at the fat eunuch cold tunnel. You. The fat eunuch was furious. If you dare to speak foul words and cut off your head, I have never said an empty word in my life. Would you like to have a try? Long Chen looks at the eunuch coldly. Long Chen does not make trouble, does not mean that he is afraid of things. Long Chen does not care about others respect him, but if anyone dares to humiliate him, he will never be used to him. Long Chen looked at the tall eunuch, who was furious and ready to curse. But when he saw Long Chen's eyes, he seemed to be watched by wild beasts, and the strong threat of death enveloped his heart. He is also a master with a strong sense of danger. At that moment, he has smelled the breath of death. He was surprised and angry. You know, this is the palace. Who dares to kill here? But he didn't dare to gamble or swear, and his flesh trembled and his fists crunched. You fool, this is the palace. Don't you want to die? Yu Qingxian doesn't have a good voice. I don't believe my father-in-law will kill me. There is no tunnel for the dragon dust stall. Yu Qingxian was a little angry at first. As a result, Long Chen's face turned red with shame and said, Why are you so cheeky? You haven't passed the test yet, Long Chen said with a smile. I don't want to be unsuccessful in what Long Chen wants to do. Believe me. By the way, I asked my mother to give you the nameplate. You have received it. Take the nameplate and sign up to join the army directly. With your strength, it's very easy to pass the examination. After the examination Yu Qingxian said, That are you talking about the nameplate my aunt gave me? I didn't get that. Long Chen realized that Yu Qingxian had made the nameplate for him, and his heart was warm. No. Yu Qingxian stayed. Long Chen tells Yu Qingxian what happened in the main hall, and Yu Qingxian's face suddenly looks worried. If you don't have that nameplate, the process will become very complicated and take a lot of time if you want to meet the conditions. Silly girl, isn't that good? How about more time for you? I said, for you, I'm not afraid of anything. Long Chen said with a smile. Long Chen, why are you so nice to me? Yu Xian is so busy waiting for him to do something important. Just because she knew it, she didn't want to waste too much time and energy of Long Chen. She tried to make a small stove for Long Chen. Long Chen's words completely warmed her up. Because I like you. Long Chen said softly. Long Chen, I can see a lot from Menqi's eyes. Your brothers are shocked when they see me, which makes me feel strange. Long Chen, are you hiding something from me? Yu Qingxian looks at Long Chen. Long Chen shakes his head and says, I won't hide anything from you. The reason why I don't tell you is that it's not time yet. When it's time, I'll tell you everything. The reason why Mingxian told her that she didn't want to be happy in the past is that she didn't want to be a burden to Qinglong. The pain of reincarnation is unimaginable. Long Chen thinks that only in this way can he repay her 1 in 10 million. After hearing what Long Chen said, Yu Qingxian smiles sweetly and looks at Long Chen with all her worries gone. Without that nameplate, you can only go up step by step from the lowest level of identity. My dean, I'm very worried. With your temper, you'll encounter a lot of trouble. Yu Qingxian said that Long Chen felt that his heart was about to melt. This is Yu Qingxian's most intimate address to him so far. It's not hard for me. It's not luck that makes me come to this day from a person in the world who sees people bullying. Long Chen laughs. With Yu Qingchuan's words, he is more confident. Princess, Your Highness, your visiting time is up. You should go back to practice. At this time, the tall eunuch reminded in a cold voice. So fast? Yu Qingchuan's eyebrows are slightly wrinkled. Before she says a few words to Long Chen, it's time. Qingxian, go back first. I don't need you to worry about it. Since I entered the fairyland, I've been fighting and killing all the way. I happen to be here in the Rosefinch Empire. I'll take care of myself, cultivate my morality, cultivate my character, and improve my personal taste and temperament. In order to be an excellent son-in-law of the Rosefinch Empire, I want to be a qualified person with both political integrity and ability, intelligence and courage. Long Chen said with a smile. Yu Qingxian nods. She still has a lot to say to Long Chen, but there are many rules of the Zhuge Empire, and she has to abide by them. She can only leave reluctantly. After Yu Qingxian left, the tall eunuch gave Long Chen a cold look, and then he left. At this time, the little eunuch who led the way to Long Chen left the palace with Long Chen. When he left the palace, Long Chen went to apply for the identity plate first. In this way, he became the most common imperial civilian. After getting the identification plate, Long Chen goes straight to Huayun Commercial Bank. As soon as Long Chen enters the gate of Huayun Commercial Bank, there are several figures in the distance. After a cold look at Long Chen, he turns and disappears. Is the blood-killing hall really haunted? Empta, are you going to deal with me yourself? Those figures disappear. In Huayun business, Long Chen looks coldly at the direction they are leaving, and a gloomy smile appears at the corner of his mouth. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3959. These people, with low accomplishments and weak breath, look like common people, but no matter how disguised they are, their power of belief cannot be concealed. Long Chen has been dealing with Shueisha Hall for so many years. He is so close that he can tell their taste with his eyes closed. Dragon dust killed NPDA's most beloved disciple, Ji No Life. It seemed that NPDA was really angry. He secretly came to the Rosefinch Empire. They could be found by them. That is to say, Nepta had launched all the eyeliners, and he wanted to kiss his hands automatically. But Long Chen is not afraid. This is the Zhuge Empire, and the experts are like clouds. Now Long Chen knows that the 3 flower-level experts are Yu Xiaoyun and his 2 queens. And the old man in the palace can't be any older. Long Chen can't see his accomplishments. He's unpredictable. I'm afraid he's not a simple old man. Moreover, the formation of Emperor Zhuge is the most terrifying one that Long Chen has ever come into contact with. If Empta dares to appear in Emperor Zhuge, it's no different from looking for death. It's just to inquire about the whereabouts. Long Chen doesn't care. As long as Emputa doesn't come to Zhuge capital himself, Long Chen is not afraid of anyone. After entering Huayun Commercial Bank, Long Chen directly exchanged 30 million silver coins. This silver coin is not ordinary silver coin, but Rosefinch Star Silver. It is one of the secret silver. Within 9 days and 10 places, only the Rosefinch Empire produces it. Although it is rare, it has no practical value. It is most suitable for coin making. However, if it is too precious, it is easy for coins to flow out. After all, there is not a lot of silver in Zhuge Emperor's country. Under the silver coins, there are also copper coins. Copper coins are also extracted from the unique copper mines of the Zhuge Empire. Both silver coins and copper coins are engraved with the Zhuge totem of the Zhuge Empire. There will be strange fluctuations in this totem within the territory of the Zhuge Empire, which is easy to identify and can't be counterfeited at all. On top of the silver coins, there are gold coins. However, gold coins cannot be used by ordinary people. They must be members of the royal family, scholars above the level of Hanlin Bachelor, and some senior officials. If the civilians receive gold coins, they can only go to a special place to exchange them for silver or copper coins, not for direct use. Long Chen's current identity is just the lowest level of the common people in the Zhuge Empire. He basically uses copper coins, but few use silver coins. However, Long Chen is rich and powerful. He gives a magic crystal of the Archean Devil's body to Huayun Company and directly obtains 30 million silver coins. According to the price of Zhuge Emperor in China, a silver coin can buy 100 Xianwenging, 30 million silver coins, which is 3 billion Xianwenging. You should know that the salaries of the princes and daughters are only 30,000 silver coins a month. Long Chun can be said to become a rich man in an instant. Zhu Yunhua doesn't have to go out of the challenge arena to show his strength, so he needs to improve his position. Martial arts, like literature, are divided into many levels, but Long Chen is too lazy to study those levels. He applied for the selection of martial arts students, and he also applied for the selection of literary talents. Anyway, it's just a report. If you want to go, you can go. If you don't want to go, you can't go. Long Chen is just a report. After that, in the afternoon, there was a competition. Because of the relationship of Huayun business, Long Chen was arranged a competition in the afternoon. After Long Chen came to power, when he saw a practitioner of Shenhua realm in front of him, he was dumbfounded, and his opponent was dumbfounded when he saw him. Are you a strong immortal king, and you've come to apply for martial arts? The man was surprised, angry, and wronged. What can I do? Long Chen is a little speechless. Can I blame him? I despise you. That person put down a word, ran directly, the realm is bad so much. Still compare a fart? It's not on the same level at all. There are many onlookers around the challenge arena. Most of these people are practitioners of Shenhua realm, not even Shenjun realm. Long Chen, a strong man in fairyland, is here, just like an adult in a childish child. Because the challenge arena is held once every 7 days, Long Chen has to fight 3 times before he can enter the next level of challenge arena, so after this time, Long Chen needs to wait another 7 days. After taking advantage of this opportunity, Yu Xian is still in the realm of 3,000 immortals. It has to be said that Yu Qingquan's talent is too strong, her promotion speed is too fast, and Long Chen has to work hard. Long Chen directly rents the most luxurious training room. The rent here is 1,000 silver coins a day. There are all kinds of arrays in it, including cultivation, alchemy, competition, testing, and so on. Here, even those who are strong in the divine realm can open their arms and legs to the fierce battle. Because in the imperial capital, except for the challenge arena, there are basically no martial arts areas. Therefore, the business of the training rooms here is very hot. From the lowest level to the highest level, the price difference is hundreds of times. In Long Chen's training room, there are all kinds of equipment, such as Dan furnace, puppets, casting tools, and so on. If you want, you can even hire a strong person to accompany you. If you have enough money, you can use the Supreme Pride to accompany you. It is said that the princes and daughters of the empire often hire people to practice with them, but if they want to be a trainee, they must be super strong, otherwise they are not qualified to make that money at all. There are countless strong people who want to be the accompaniment of princes and princesses. The purpose is to fly to the sky through the relationship between princes and princesses. Most of the strong men around the princes and daughters were once sparring. They were selected because they showed great strength and potential. It is not only a symbol of status and glory, but also a means of receiving royal salaries. Moreover, royal resources will be inclined to them. After entering the practice room, Long Chen will directly open the alchemy array to the maximum. In this way, the indoor aura will be full-bodied to the extreme, and the array will extract the law of heaven and earth, which is more conducive to alchemy and improve the probability of becoming an alchemy. The dragon dust let the demon moon furnace and the melting moon refining star furnace fire fully open. To refine the immortal king pill, materials dragon dust has long been complete, but there has been no time to refine it. Some time ago, the pills made by the demon moon furnace and the melting moon refining star furnace were all for the disciples of the Luo family. In 3,000 worlds, Long Chen brought all the pills back to the Luo family by Qinfeng. Now he began to alchemy for himself. The requirement of immortal king's alchemy was not high. Long Chen demonstrated it several times. The demon moon furnace and the melting moon star furnace could cooperate with Huolinger to alchemy by themselves. The business of alchemy is handed over to the demon moon furnace and the melting moon star furnace, while the spirit of Longchen sinks into the chaotic space. The soul sits under the 7-treasure glass tree, and the 7-treasure glass tree god shines down, wrapping the soul of Longchen. At that moment, the spirit of Longchen seems to have been washed, and the whole person is empty in an instant. In Longchen's mind, 7 huge stars emerge, behind which 18,000 stars flow, forming a star map. It's time to calm down and study the future of 9 stars. Longchen looks at the star map. He needs to deduce a way of his own. In a moment, the star map keeps changing and evolving into various patterns. He wants to find a suitable star map among the endless patterns as his own 7-star pattern. Just 3 days after the closure of Longchen, someone came to the door. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3960 in the chaotic space, Dragon Dust studies the 9-star pattern, which is also said by the Dragon Strongmen. Because the route of Dragon Dust has deviated, the current 7-star battle body is far less than the real 7-star battle body. However, Longchen still has the opportunity to change the arrangement of the 7-star battle body, change the operation route of the 7-star battle body, and find the strongest way. However, it's not easy to change the current figure of the 7-star battle body. Now the star map and the power of the 7 stars complement each other. Once the figure of the 7 stars changes, the whole sea of stars will change. If one can't get it right, the power will backfire, and Dragon Dust will explode and die immediately. So Dragon Dust is still in the stage of deduction. With the help of Qibao Liulishu, Longchen successfully put forward dozens of schemes. However, Longchen knew that this was far from enough, and had to continue to put forward them until all the routes were screened out, compared and confirmed with each other, so that it was possible to find a way that was really suitable for him. But at this time, Rune lights up in the training room, which means that someone is looking for him. Originally, Longchen didn't want to pay attention to it, because the name of the visitor in the training room is Zhu Yifeng. Zhu is the surname of Zhuke Empire. Longchen is afraid that he was sent by Yu Qingxian, so he has to withdraw from the chaotic space. Brother Long, do you remember my younger brother? That person sees Longchen to come out, can't help but smile away. What Longchen didn't expect was that Zhu Yifeng, who came to him, was the one who gave up his seat and sat down for him in front of the stage that day. It's Brother Zhu. What can I do for you? Dragon Dust is not polite, straight to the point. Well, I admire Brother Long very much. That day you smoked Duke Wei, I almost couldn't help cheering him. That dead eunuch, you don't know how hateful it is. Relying on his father's trust, he doesn't pay attention to us princes and daughters. I have long wanted to smoke him, but I have never had a chance. Of course, even if I have a chance, I may not dare to fight, because I may not be able to beat him. Zhu Yifeng said with a smile. Longchen Yilu, this Zhu Yifeng is a lover, but not boring, much better than other princes and princesses. Besides, I've inquired. You really came to marry Princess Qingxian. You're very good. Zhu Yifeng said with a big thumb to Longchen and said, Princess Qingxian is the most beloved princess of our father. You don't think we are his own children, but he is strict and indifferent to us. If we make a mistake, we will fight and punish, and we will punish more severely than others. In fact, I used to be the 20th emperor. Last year, the 19th prince was killed by his father, and now I am the 19th prince. Killed? Longchen was startled. Did he kill his own son? I have a secret relationship with the Purple Thunder Empire. I don't know the details. Anyway, my father was so angry that he was killed directly. No one could persuade him. By the way, don't tell anyone about it, or it will come to my father's ears and I will have to peel off my skin if I don't die. Zhu Yifeng realized that he had told a big secret. It was a royal taboo. At that time, his face turned white and he begged Longchen. Don't worry, I'm not a talkative person. Besides, your father is my future father-in-law. We are all family. How can I harm you? Longchen patted Zhu Yifeng on the shoulder. The child is straightforward and has no tricks. Long Chen has put down his guard and is very relaxed to get along with such people. Hearing what Long Chen said, Zhu Yifeng was relieved. Suddenly he was a little excited and said, "By the way, Brother Long, what's the result of your proposal to your father? I only heard that you are going to be tested now. Is it going well? Your Majesty is very kind to me. He promised me that he would only finish the test. However, the two queens were very kind to me. At that time, they wanted to give me a jade plate of identity, but I refused. Dragon Dust is a man of indomitable spirit. How can we help others in this kind of thing?" When Long Chen talks about a lie, his face is not red and his heart is not beating. At that time, in the hall, both of them were about to point their noses and scold. How to say they were not good. "Wow, Brother Long, you are powerful. No, elder brother, you are my brother. Now you are my brother. Later you will be my brother-in-law. You should take good care of me." It is obvious that Zhu Yifeng is very simple. He believes what Long Chen says. Without doubt, he holds Long Chen's hand and seems to have found half the savior. Cough. Seeing that Zhu Yifeng believed him so much, Long Chen was a little embarrassed and said in a hurry, "Well, it's not difficult for me to become the imperial son-in-law, but everything has to be taken care of step by step. It's a little far away." Long Chen thought, "Take care of a fart, you take care of me. Brother Wei, you'll know that you're the same as Brother Zhufa. Don't get me wrong, elder brother. I don't want to woo you. I'm different from other princes and daughters. I don't want to fight for the throne. The key is that I can't fight for it. I want to find a backer. It doesn't matter who is the emperor. Just don't fix me. I want to live simply." Zhu Yifeng. If you don't want to fight for the throne, how can others embarrass you? Why do you want a backer? Long Chen doesn't understand the tunnel. Zhu Yifeng said with a sad face, "Brother, you don't know that there is no family in the royal family. Besides, as a royal disciple he must be excellent, and he must also be civil and martial arts. We are the only brothers here, I dare say so. If my father hears that I'm not promising, he will throw me directly into the fire prison. Not to mention my father, even my mother will peel my skin. Princes and daughters are all fighting openly and secretly. As for me, I'm a grass bag. I can't compete with others in terms of force and intelligence. Among all the princes and daughters, I dare to fight with them. On the surface, I feel that I am not afraid of them. In fact, I am afraid to die in my heart, but I dare not show it. In a word, I am too difficult. You have great talent. Why can't you beat so many princes and princesses?" Long Chen looks at Zhu Yifeng. Although he is not the supreme, he is full of fire energy. He is very pure, and his fighting power is not weak. No one. Zhu Yifeng was a little depressed. After the depression, Zhu Yifeng suddenly thought of the business he was going to do this time. "By the way, brother, I have come here to think of a way that can help you quickly upgrade the rank of a warrior. You don't have to waste so much time." "Oh, let's hear it." "Before the next competition, I'll sign an agreement with the challenge arena. After you win, I'll hire you as my partner. Every prince and daughter has a chance to choose a partner in the challenge arena once a year. I just don't have the chance this year. I want to do you a little favor. I hope you can take care of my younger brother when you are prosperous in the future." Zhu Yifeng is in a hurry. Long Chen listen to still have this good thing? In this way, he can use Zhu Yifeng's identity to directly challenge the same level experts next time. As soon as Long Chen hears this, he agrees. Zhu Yifeng is very happy. He says that he will not delay Long Chen's practice and leaves on the spot. 3 days later, it's the day of the competition. Sure enough, Zhu Yifeng is waiting for him. The host takes out a document and hands it to Long Chen. Long Chen doesn't look at it, but signs his name directly. Just on stage, the opponent saw that Long Chen was a strong man in fairyland and immediately admitted defeat and left. "Ah, brother, you will be my partner in the future. We are a group." Zhu Yifeng laughed and was so excited. "You're happy too soon." At this time, a cold voice came. Imperial Princess Yu Qianxue appeared. She has more than a dozen guards. When see Yu Qianxue mouth smile, Dragon Dust suddenly have a bad feeling. www.novelhold.com the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3961. What do you mean? When he saw Yu Qianxue, Yu Yifeng's face changed. Long Chen is not your partner, but mine. Yukiangsu Cold Tunnel. You're going to take my big brother? It's no use. I've already signed the document. I'm ahead of you. Zhu Yi hummed coldly, saying words and waving documents, with a winning posture. If you look at that document carefully, who is it written about? Yuqian Snow Road. Zhu Yifeng was stunned and looked at the document. Long Chen also looked at the document, on which Yu Qiangshu's name was written, not Zhu Yifeng's. What's the matter with you? Long Chen is silly. Looking at Zhu Yifeng, can you make a mistake? Zhu Yifeng was surprised and angry. He didn't believe this document, but it was written by Yu Qianxue. Long Chen, from today on, you are my partner. I will practice with you. Yu Qianxue goes to Long Chen and looks into Long Chen's eyes. It is meaningful. Long Chen can't help but look at the old man. When Long Chen looks at him, he can't help but turn his face. This action makes Long Chen understand. The old man was bribed by Yu Qianxue, and Zhu Yifeng's document was exchanged by him. Because Zhu Yifeng was present, Long Chen thought he could handle everything, but he didn't go to see the document, so he signed it directly. Nima, Long Chen is speechless for a while. Unexpectedly, he has been smart all his life. If he doesn't pay attention, he signs the contract of selling himself, and it takes 3 years to sign it. Long Chen took the document in Zhu Yifeng's hand, and then noticed the dense small words on it, which were the constraints on both sides. Yu Qiangshu's name suddenly appeared in the most striking place, but he didn't see it. Of course, you can tear up the document directly, but tearing up the document means that there is no spirit of contract. I believe you won't do that, will you? Yu Qianxue looks at Long Chen with a smile on her mouth. I disdain to do 1,000 dust in the face of a dragon. Of course, smile. Long Chen finished and handed the document to Yu Qianxue. Yu Qianxue held out her jade hand and collected the document. Looking at Long Chen, she did not speak. Sorry, brother. Zhu Yifeng was schemed. He was so ashamed that he wanted to slap himself in the face. Well, it's my fault. Now that it's done, there's no need to complain. Dragon Dust Light Tunnel, this matter really can't only blame Zhu Yifeng. Pa. Suddenly, a streamer flies to Long Chen. With a big hand, Long Chen catches the streamer, which is a plaque. At the same time, the voice of Yu Qianxue comes from afar. From today on, you are my person, and my princess house is your home. Come to my house to report in 3 days. Yu Qianxue said with all the guards left, this Yu Qianxue clean, resolute, quiet women do not let men's momentum. Long Chen knows that what Yu Qianxue wants is not his sparring, but to recruit herself into her command step by step. This girl knows that he is coming for Qingxian, and she dares to do so. She doesn't know what it means. Is she deliberately trying to humiliate Yu Qingxian? Big brother. Zhu Yifeng was very ashamed. Long Chen patted Zhu Yifeng on the shoulder and comforted him. It's a small matter. Even if I sign a document, it doesn't mean I'll sell myself to her. It's just a woman. What's to be afraid of? Long Chen. Suddenly, a friendly cry comes. Long Chen sees Yu Qingxian in a white dress and a sweet smile on her face. Qingxian, you have come out. When Long Chen saw Yu Qingxian, he was both surprised and happy. Yifeng met sister Qingxian. Seeing Yu Qingxian coming, Zhu Yifeng hastened to salute. Yifeng, you are here too. Yu Qingxian was surprised to see Zhu Yifeng. Well, it's a long story. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Zhu Yifeng is still a little wink, know that at this time should avoid. Today's affairs are all messed up by him, and he has no face to stay here. Just when Yu Qingxian comes, he can find an excuse to leave. Qingxian, how did you come out? It's still one person. Long Chen is a little excited. It's really nice to be without those annoying eunuchs. Hee, there are many rules and lessons in the palace, but it will give us free time. Today I can play for a day. Yu Qingxian said with a smile that she was as happy as a child. Haha, that's good. This is the Rosefinch City, Princess Royal. Let me take a look at the local customs and practices of the birds. Long Chen said with a smile. It'll take you to the most famous snack of the Rosefinch Empire, the best scenery, and the most lively scholarly street. With a smile, Yu Qingxian pulls Long Chen to a transmission array. At this time, Yu Qingxian dressed as a civilian and did not wear any royal keepsake. At this time, she could not enjoy any royal privileges. Of course, the royal rules could not restrain her. She took Long Chen as a tour guide to introduce the local conditions and customs of the ancient city, cultural relics and historical sites, and taste all kinds of delicious food. It has to be said that the foundation of the Rosefinch Empire is too deep. Many places have historical allusions, and many things have special origins, which makes Long Chen sigh. Long Chen, you are good at bargaining. I want to buy a hairpin. Can you help me cut it? When passing by a jewelry store, Yu Qingxian points to the pearl flower in the store and tells Long Chen. Long Chen knows that Yu Qingxian doesn't care about money, nor is she afraid of being slaughtered. It's probably funny to think of the scene of Long Chen bargaining when he was setting up a stall on a hot day. Boss, how do you sell this pearl flower? Long Chen comes to the point. Wow, young master, you really have vision. This is the treasure of our town shop. The shopkeeper's eyes brightened when he saw Long Chen, and his face was full of praise. All right, just say how much less you don't want to sell it. Look, you are a real person. Do you want to give it to your wife? In this way, I don't want to play empty. This is at least 3,000 yuan. I can't take away one less copper. The manager's serious way. 80, what? You're kidding. You can't take it. The old man's face became a little ugly. Seeing this, Long Chen doesn't speak. He pulls Yu Qingxian around and leaves. The boss says in a hurry, Okay, I'm afraid of you. Take one. Yu Qingxian almost didn't laugh. The price of Long Chen is really frightening, but the shopkeeper really dares to ask for it. Here you are, change. As 2 peas of the same hairpin were chosen from the dozen of the same hairpins, he paid a silver coin with 100 digits to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper took a look and turned his eyes. Your money is too big. I don't have any change for you. You can take another hairpin away. Poof, Long Chen almost didn't have a mouthful of old blood. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. Chapter 3962. I've cut the price all my life, but I finally failed. What's the matter today? It's a bad time. The contract of selling oneself has been signed, and the ability of bargaining has declined. Okay, shopkeeper, you are cruel. Long Chen thinks that he has cut 3,000 to 80. Long Chen thinks that he has reached the limit, and the one who cuts the shopkeeper again is going to turn his face. Unexpectedly, he seriously underestimates others. 2 hairpins, 100 silver coins. It's estimated that the boss can still earn more than 70 yuan with tears in his eyes. On purpose, it must be on purpose. As Long Chen comes out of the shop gnashing his teeth, Yu Qingxian is already holding Long Chen's arm and can't smile straight. It's estimated that Long Chen's triumphant appearance after his successful bargaining made the shopkeeper unhappy. This is to teach him a lesson and let him take another hairpin just to tell him, you are still too young. However, seeing that Yu Qingxian can't smile, it's all worth it. It's hard for her to win a smile. It's not unfair. Little brother, seeing that you have a full heaven, a square pavilion, and bright eyes, why don't you come to the shop and have a look? Our shop is full of old objects of ancient times. How about long eyes? At the door of a shop, an old man warmly said that it was an antique shop. Long Chen took a look at the shop, then looked at the old man and said, In this shop, the oldest thing is you. Cluck, cluck. Yu Qingxian smiles again. She also sees that the old objects here are basically imitations. But what Long Chen says is very interesting. Being with Long Chen always makes her very happy. There's a bride in Shuxiang Street. Go and have a look. Suddenly, there was a cry in the street. Suddenly, countless people ran forward. Let's have a look too. Yu Qingxian pulls Long Chen forward. You silly girl, what are we going to see? Do you want to help me recruit a bride? Long Chen said with a bitter smile. Look, it doesn't matter. Yu Qingxian is not angry either. She pulls Long Chen forward with a smile. Soon, a large group of people appeared in front of him. There was a high platform in front of him. On the platform were two beautiful girls who had been in double 10 years. This is a marriage platform, but it's a literary move, not a martial move. It's similar to the martial arts competition. These two women should also be of extraordinary origin. Do you see a couplet in their hands? Yu Qingxian said with a smile. Long Chen then looked into the hands of the two girls. Sure enough, they both held a pair of couplets, which read, 1 big pride, 2 small pride, 3-inch golden lotus, 4-inch waist, 5672 rouge powder, 89 dressed very pretty. It turns out that these two women are twin sisters, named Dajiao and Xiaojiao respectively, so this couplet comes out. The two women were looking into the crowd. When they saw several scholars in the crowd, their eyes lit up. This couplet is made by my father. If anyone can match it, my sister and I are willing to serve you often. Of the two women, one is female. I have to say that these two women are not only good-looking, but also have a good voice. They are charming and are very provocative. The students of the Imperial Academy immediately became interested. They went to the stage, looked at the couplets in the woman's hands, and thought about it. It's hard, it's too hard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 90 appeared in the first couplet. The second couplet must be the other way around, and it's even more difficult. An academician sighed and said he couldn't get it right. Other Hanlin students also shake their heads straight. It's not difficult to make couplets. But couplets should not only rhyme neatly, but also conform to the times. Only in this way can they conform to the charm. They are all academicians or they are not right. Once they are right, if they are singled out for flaws, they will lose face. It's better to admit that they are not right. Is it hard? So many people are not right? Long Chen can't help but say. Long Chen originally said this to Yu Qingxian. She didn't want to be heard by people around her. Yu Qingxian was also thinking about how to speak to the couplet. Before she could speak, someone sneered, I'm so ashamed that I can't even speak to the Hanlin scholars. Do you think it's difficult? If it's not difficult, you're looking at one? The sneer was also a scholar. Seeing that Long Chen was carrying a huge long sword behind his back, he knew that Long Chen was a martial arts practitioner. Seeing that Long Chen was making wild remarks, he could not help sneering. His voice was so loud that everyone around him heard him. Everyone's eyes looked at Long Chen. The reason why these people focus on Long Chen is that Yu Qingxian uses the technique. Only Long Chen can see her face clearly. When other people see Yu Qingxian, they can only see that she is a very ordinary woman. It's you? You are the boy who dared to be disrespectful to the master that day and talked at the fairy music party. Soon someone recognized Long Chen. Most of the people here are scholars. These people immediately raise their eyebrows to the dragon dust, and they have a group attack posture. Long Chen, give the couplets to the couplets. They are so angry. Yu Qingxian said with a smile. With Yu Qingchuan's approval, Long Chen looks at the people around him. 6 of the 7 scholars stare at him. Only one of them is still pondering, as if he is still thinking about how to make couplets. This is the Shuxiang style street. The lights are bright day and night, and the moon is hanging high in the sky. Long Chen and Yu Qingxian have been wandering for a long time, and now they are at a loss that the sky is almost bright. Looking at the surrounding situation, Long Chen said faintly, the moon is 8 minutes round in the 19th century, 7 scholars are 6 shamed, 5 o'clock is 4 o'clock and 3 o'clock is clear, and 2 arrogances will be returned with me. When Long Chen finished, all the people on the scene were numb. The couplets were neat, and they were almost perfect. When people react from the shock, Long Chen has already pulled Yu Qingxian away, leaving only the numb people behind. You are really good. If you abandon martial arts and follow literature for less than 10 years, no, less than 7 years, you can be comparable to master. Yu Qingxian holds Long Chen's hand, and her pretty face is full of adoration. By the way, Qingxian, what does the master do? Long Chen asked. The master is the most learned man in the Suzhou Empire. There are 3 masters in our empire, 2 of whom have been in the master's college all the time and hardly leave the hospital. Only the grandmaster, who traveled all over the world, taught everywhere, collected disciples, and often came to the palace to teach us. To tell you the truth, he is very old-fashioned and uncomfortable. But in theory, master is at the same level as the emperor. Therefore, when we see him, we have to salute as disciples. Yu Qingxian has some grievances. If Yu Qingxian is such a kind and easygoing person and can evaluate a person in this way, he can basically conclude that this master is not a good thing. Master, dare to let my Qingxian be wronged. When I see him, I will make him a grandson. Long Chen said angrily. Long Chen's words immediately make Yu Qingxian smile. Soon after dawn, Yu Qingxian has to go back to the palace and can only say goodbye to Long Chen. Before leaving, her eyes are full of reluctant color. When Qingxian returns to the palace, the laughter on the way slowly disappears. When Qingxian leaves, Long Chen feels lonely. No, we have to speed up. Long Chen goes straight to Snow Princess Jian's house. When he comes to the door of the house, Long Chen shows his nameplate. The guard at the door immediately leads Long Chen into the house. Through 2 gates in a row, he comes to an open field. Long Chen frowns, and a strong man with a long gun appears in front of him, blocking his way. It was a man with red hair and amazing qi and blood. He pointed a long gun at Long Chen with disdain on his face. It's not so easy to meet the princess. I'll give you 2 choices. One is to win me, let you go, and the other is to drill through my crotch. I think there's another way, and that's from your body. Long Chen looks at that man. His behavior aroused Long Chen's killing intention. www.novelhold.com, the fastest update of the web novel. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.